What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are all enjoying your wonderful day and evening. And this is going to be my first live stream in quite a while. We're going to be attempting to live stream the majority of this upcoming event. We do have a moderate risk or a tornado-driven moderate risk currently right now for a portion of the Mississippi River Basin as well Kentucky Valley. We do, as you can tell, a pretty large moderate risk across these areas. Definitely not too common when you hear a moderate risk in December. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure we are live streaming here. Make sure everything is set in place. I want to make sure everything's nice and good before we start continuing throughout the stream. So I'm gonna make sure everything right now is good audio wise. I also want to see the chat is all good and set up. Kentucky Valley. But yeah, it seems as if the audio is working right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and wait for going to continue to I'm gonna wait for a few people to join the stream. But like I said, we are gonna be looking at the overall severe weather potential. Storms are starting to fire off already, so definitely gonna start. We're starting the stream at a perfect timing right now. We're as well watch for the next SPC Day 1 outlook, which will come in. I believe it's going to be within 2 hours or so. But yeah, we are going to definitely have to keep a very, very close eye on this, as this storms or this overall event's going to be very, very significant. It's obviously, like I say, a moderate driven tornado risk. This is a 15 sig day. There's that 15% chance of significant tornado threat. The hatched 10% or greater is a high chance, or a 10% or greater probability of EF2 or greater happening within 25-mile radius. So we're definitely watching out for some significant tornadoes to really amplify as we go throughout this event. We're going to be seeing a pretty overall amped up setup, and the overall thermos and the overall warm sector in general is pretty favorable at this point. Let's go see if we can see any if there's any people joining. What's up, Blaze Weather? Hello, Jaden. Hello, Hyper 2 Swift again. If you know anybody in this general area, I would recommend you guys do share this stream. Like I said, I'm going to try to stream the majority of this event, but it will continue as an overnight event. Hyper 2 Swift asks, will there be a high risk? I really doubt the high risk. I don't see. I mean, there's obviously potential. It's definitely a possibility, but right now, although we're really seeing, I'd say we're seeing advanced conditions compared to what models were predicting. Although we are seeing advanced thermos and as well seeing some overall good kinematics, I'm still not sure, or I'm not really sold on the fact that we could see a high risk. But if we overall look at the overall service observations right now, we are seeing a pretty warm sector. As you can tell, we're seeing some, as well as starting to see some storms starting to fire off already across portions of Arkansas, and then of course seeing very warm temperatures, as well as seeing some really strong low moisture convergence across portions of the lower Mississippi River Valley. We're seeing upper 70s as temperatures right now across Tennessee, across portions of upper Mississippi, as well getting some temperatures nearly in the 80s across Arkansas. So it's definitely going to get pretty warm. We are seeing a far warm sector than what we were, or at least models were predicting. And as well, we do have a tornado watch. I'm not going to forget about that. We do have a tornado watch. It's not a PDS. This is not the main watch. We most likely will have a PDS watch later overnight. This main watch is not going to happen, or it's not going to get issued till eventually later on. We just got a new medical discussion right now. This actually came out 3 minutes ago. Slowly increasing storm intensity coverage expected over the next 1 to 2 hours. So there's the overall area to watch out for the next 1 to 2 hours. So portions of their eastern Arkansas, southern Illinois, portions of west or southeastern Missouri, portions of west central Tennessee, western Kentucky, and then northwestern Mississippi are the areas to really watch out for. Again, this will obviously carry on to tomorrow, but the main time frame is going to be today. So initial storms which developed near Little Rock have not shown much organization thus far. In addition, weak cellular convection is developing across much of Mississippi River region. However, a strong capping invergence sampled by the 19Z LZK RAOB is likely limiting more robust storm development thus far. As highs continue to fall this evening, expect these warm mid-level temperatures to erode further and expect greater storm coverage and intensity. So basically, in general, we are going to watch out for the overall initiation and main convection to start to develop across the next 1 to 2 hours. But right now, the main storms or the main semi-discrete storms we're seeing develop right now aren't becoming really significant because of the low-level cap inversion we're currently seeing right now, and that's what we're expecting. That's why this is going to be a very late-night event, because this cap's not going to break till really after 0Z, according to some models. But here's the overall tornado watch. So it's located across the majority of this enhanced risk. Like I said, this is not the main. This is not the main watch. Although it's not a PDS watch, it is still, I believe, a 70-90. Here are the probabilities. We do have a 90% of probability of 2 or more tornadoes. So definitely a high likelihood of having 2 or more tornadoes. And we have a pretty high chance as well for a probability of 1 or more strong EF2 plus tornadoes. So there is definitely still some really high confidence in the fact that we can get some very strong tornadoes. But of course, you need an 80-80. So we don't have any 80-80 probabilities so far. But like I said, this is not the main watch, but still some really scary numbers specifically for the tornado. So this is going to be mainly a tornado day, so that's why I call it a tornado outbreak. We do still have a high chance of severe wind, obviously seeing some very strong and amplified low-level jet and negative tilting low-level jets, and we are going to be seeing getting up to 80 knots at the 500 millibar, and then getting up to 60 knots at 850 millibars. But overall, going to be seeing specifically this big wind threats going to be, especially the latest part at night, once the storm or once the system starts to upscale and becomes elevated base. That's where the main wind threat will come into play. And then we have a moderate risk for 65 plus knot wind, and then a moderate for both severe hail and 2-inch plus hail. But really, we're not going to be seeing much of a hail threat. I believe we only have it's actually a enhanced risk for hail 30%. So we are going to be watching out for some dry adiabatic lapse rates, and we're going to be seeing some actual decent lapse rates, specifically as we're going to be seeing these temperatures starting to cooling. We're going to be seeing some temperatures kind of cooling off a little bit in the lower atmosphere, and seeing some pretty overall saturated portions under 700 millibars later on. So that's where we're going to be seeing definitely some great hail conditions. And if we look at the overall latest visible imagery, we are going to be seeing some very strong confluence bands, prefrontal confluence bands developing across Arkansas. We saw developing then into Missouri eventually earlier today. So we're going to be seeing, continue to watch out for some strong prefrontal confluence bands that are going to bring in some really strong advection, some very strong moisture advection and input from the Gulf of Mexico. So although we're going to be seeing some really intense moisture in the surface, there is going to be some lower cap inversion right now currently in place across some of these areas in the lower atmosphere near the PBL. But as we go later on, this capping is most likely going to really break, and that's when things are going to let out. Once this cap breaks out is going to when we're going to be seeing this kind of quote-unquote loaded gun sounding, practically, is when you're going to be seeing some really strong capping. And then eventually, once we get toward the best part of the day, that's where we're going to get those really intense thermals, and as well that really intense forcing of the lower surface, including warm air advection. And that's where you see things coming out of just freaking out, and just discrete modes just absolutely popping up out of nowhere. So that's probably what we're going to be seeing today. Once this cap breaks by the warm air advection, very strong updraft helicity, once all that really strong forcing mechanisms are going to be set in place, we're going to be seeing an absolute just monster hours of discrete modes. And then eventually, once it becomes upscale, is when we're going to be watching out for that main wind threat. But let's go ahead and let me look at the comments here that we have. Ooh, I'm cutting out a bit. I do apologize for that. My Wi-Fi is not the best, especially when I stream. Sometimes my Wi-Fi cuts out. It's not the best when it comes to streaming, so I do apologize for that. I am noticing that I'm cutting out a little bit. I really do apologize for that. Again, sometimes my Wi-Fi really likes to act out. I'm not sure why it does, but it does. I really do apologize. But I'm going to try to obviously answer your comments, and hopefully it doesn't buffer too much. Um, but let's see what we have so far. Could this be a tornado outbreak like we saw in the in the southeast in March? I wouldn't say we're gonna be seeing anything like that, but this is obviously going to be one of the worst outbreaks, at least if it does live to its hype. And based on the overall observed condition, this could definitely be one of the worst tornado outbreaks of the year. Could it be like the ones in March where we saw those cyclic supercells? Not exactly sure. However, I do expect some long track, strong tornadoes, basically based on the latest ARRR year and as well camps. Winter storms coming to Nashville area. The Nashville area should start to get those main storms. I believe it's going to be after midnight, something like that. If we actually look at the actual ARRR, this could load for us again. Like I said, my Wi-Fi is just really not the best when it comes to streaming. It loves to, I don't know, I just don't understand. My Wi-Fi is not really that good. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and see what we're going to be experiencing for Nashville. Nashville is definitely going to be, it is going to be a little bit later. Timing-wise, it's going to be after the discrete mode. At this point, it's going to be mainly a QLCS for Nashville, so it's going to be mainly a huge wind problem. So if you're in Nashville, you shouldn't have to really have a huge concern for tornadoes or any large surface-based supercells, but I would definitely worry about for some elevated-based supercells and probably some really strong gusts, and as well as some gust fronts. Excuse me, sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get the issue. Definitely taking a while here. Oh God, sometimes I just hate my Wi-Fi. It's awful. I hate my Wi-Fi. But yeah, it's definitely not fun. But let's go ahead and get a look at the overall latest ARRR run. This is going to be the 21Z, and so let me go ahead and show you the timing for Nashville. So obviously in the next few hours, we're going to start seeing that really strong discrete mode developing across Arkansas, and then of course across more towards west central Tennessee. Nashville is going to be really avoiding the worst of it just by a few counties. It's mainly going to be tracking just to the north, west and west of Nashville. It's going to be mainly across portions of Kentucky, along the Mississippi River. So Nashville could get a few. You could probably hear the main thunder. You may hear the storms roaring to your west, but the main part of Nashville is not going to get really impacted towards the overnight hours, towards around, let's see here, maybe towards 8Z, 9Z, and then maybe 10Z is when it's, like I said, it's in the upscale. Those forcing mechanisms are going to really start to really weaken. But, oh, we got a donation. Thank you so much. Maxwell, YouTube, thank you so much. I really do appreciate the donation. It really supports the channel, and obviously all the donations go towards weather-related things for my YouTube, whether to webcams, green screens, all that good stuff. What's a severe? Severe is very severe. Thanks for warning. Let's see. Could winds be up to 80 to 90 miles an hour? They definitely could gust up to 80 to 90 miles an hour. And if that were to be the case, we'd be seeing some PDS severe thunderstorm warnings for winds for sure. And that could definitely be a possibility for Tennessee later on once this QLCS really amps up again. It's going to be definitely a pretty strong upscaled system. I'm surprised that the wind threat was not made 30% SIG. Yeah, definitely very interesting. It's definitely an interesting scenario that it's not a significant risk. That's definitely something that I thought was pretty interesting because I wasn't really looking at this event too far out, actually. If I'm being honest, I haven't really been looking at this event since I haven't started looking at this event till really, I'd say Tuesdays when I kind of started looking at it. Once a new season starts, it's when I just start talking about only that season. So for winter, I was only looking at the polar vortex, looking at the teleconnections. I really was not paying attention to this, but I started paying attention to it later, earlier this week. Uh, what's up, J Moon? How are you doing? Yeah, getting some nice rain in Wisconsin too, but at least the southern part, but the northern part is going to be getting some really intense snowfall. Uh, but yeah, if like I said, we're missing some pretty intense convection eventually starting to blow up. If we look at GR2 analysts, we are seeing some storms across the Little Rock area. We're going to start to see these storms start to pop up as we go in the next few hours. Like I said, we just had that medical discussion, which said 1 to 2 hours is when we're going to start seeing that initiation across these areas. And the main area is going to be really watching out is across the overall areas surrounding the Mississippi River. That's where we're going to be seeing that really, really strong prefrontal confluence bands start to really be felt, really large moisture convection, as well as its cap starts to break within the next hour or so. We're going to start seeing a lot of storms starting to blow up out of nowhere. But right now we're seeing a pretty strong storm near Cabot, Austin, and Ward, just to the northeast of Little Rock. Little Rock actually did get some pretty intense rain. It actually went practically right over the radar station. And then we're going to start seeing some small storms develop across the Oxford area as well over on north central Mississippi. But like I said, it's going to start to really amp up later on a lot more. I mean, we're starting to get some storms starting to develop, but it's going to be really not towards significant till later on. But there you can see the overall really high equitops and as well those cumulus clouds developing across eastern Arkansas. So that's where we're starting to see that main initiation right now. But eventually we'll get a lot more widespread. But let's actually look at the overall composite reflectivity here for the HRR, the latest run. So as we go later on, of course, we're going to start seeing some more. Actually, I'm not sure that's the latest run. Actually, we have 22Z, the latest run. But let's see here. So let's go ahead and look at the overall 22Z run. So we go the next hour or so there, you're going to start seeing these storms becoming pretty widespread across portions of Arkansas. And then, of course, we're going to be seeing some pretty intense storms developing across Missouri. Don't forget, this tornado threat is going to stretch all the way as far north as St. Louis, Springfield, Illinois. It's going to stretch pretty far north, so we have a large radius to cover for today and tonight. And then eventually, as we go towards 3Z, or actually we go towards 0Z, that's when this cap is going to officially really break, and that's where we're going to start seeing a ton of cells, discrete modes developing all the way across Missouri, western Illinois, and then of course we'll be watching out for some pretty intense smaller cells across western Tennessee, across portions of central Arkansas. But there you see those little polygons, those shaded polygons. That's where you're gonna be seeing those. That's where you're gonna be seeing rotating updrafts. So that's where you're gonna definitely be concerned if you see any rotating updrafts. That's definitely going to be the indication that there's definitely a chance for some really strong mesocyclones embedded within these large discrete supercells. So that obviously would definitely bring in the chance for tornadoes. But this is the latest 22Z, and then as we go later on to 3Z, and then 4Z at this point, or after the next 5 hours, at that point it's going to probably upscale. But definitely, I wouldn't say it's as intense as the 12Z earlier today. The 12Z HBAR today was very, very scary to say the least. As we now look at the overall moisture, the moisture, I could not get that out. The dew points. This is going to give us a pretty good idea where the warm front is going to be and as well how thick the warm sector is going to be. We just saw the observed weather on the surface analysis chart where we saw those high or those temperatures currently in the upper to low 70 or upper to mid 70s and even some low 80s across the chart. So definitely a really warm sector to say the least. Definitely warmer than expected, but here's the latest 22Z. So this is actually kind of basically going to be current. So seeing some really, really high dew points, especially considering it's December. Going to be seeing some 70 degree dew points across lower Mississippi, lower Alabama, as well along the Mississippi River, and some spots in those purples. But the main area going to be watched out is, as you see, this really large confluence bands. This is going to be really the big factor to why we're going to be seeing such a widespread event, because for these large confluence bands, it's going to really expand that warm sector all the way at this point. That's where that warm front's going to be at this point. The warm front's going to be somewhere around here. The low pressure is somewhere across, I believe it's towards Kansas right now at 994 millibars. It's definitely pretty steep low pressure. And as we continue now towards 0Z, this is where things are going to get pretty interesting. Seeing some southerlies as well as some southeasterly. So definitely some good. You can see some really good veering with height, or veering in the surface and then backing with height, but really good. A really thick warm sector all across Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, all the way towards Illinois and Missouri. So here's a look at 0Z. Let's go ahead and click anywhere. I say we click towards maybe East Central Missouri. That's where you're gonna start seeing those main storms developing across 0Z and then 01Z. But this is definitely still seeing that very strong cap in place there. You see that cap kind of towards just under 1 kilometer. So that's where this cap's still going to be in place across Missouri. But as we go eventually towards 2Z, this is where the cap is going to eventually break. Ooh, we just got a $5 donation. Thank you so much, KDS, for the donation. I really appreciate it. Like I said, all these donations we get tonight are going to go towards the channel. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. I really appreciate it, so we can overall get this stream to be recommended towards other channels and as well other recommended page, because the more likes, the more the algorithm will recommend this stream towards other people, which obviously the more people that see this, the more informed. I know there's other people streaming and more educated people streaming on this, but definitely, if I'm not going to stream this whole exact event, but I'm probably going to be streaming for a really good time, to say the least. I mean, good thing it's a Friday night. But here's the sounding here across East Central Missouri. This is actually not too shabby. Seeing some pretty strong veering in the surface. However, there's a little bit too much veering with here, but still not too shabby of a sounding really good kinematics. So that 50 knots at 1 kilometer. For shear. I mean, you can just tell how how enlarged this photograph is. This is just a really large photograph from 1 kilometer, so definitely some very intense level of shear. And this shear is going to continue to be felt at even 8 kilometers. Going to be seeing shear at the 87 knots. It's going to be seeing some pretty a very weak EML, a little bit of mixed layer right here towards anywhere from 1 to 3 kilometers. That's where we're going to be seeing some really dried back lapse rates, as well as a steepening lapse rates. Going to be seeing not too shabby lapse rates, around 6.7 to anywhere near 7.0 is where we're going to be seeing that general hail. Going to be seeing as well some decent cape, but definitely not too much necessarily. But again, it is December. But definitely not too shabby of a sounding, really intense storm relative helicity. There is some, obviously, cap towards the overall around 1 kilometer area, but of course, with this pretty strong forcing, we're going to be seeing probably a really high likelihood of this cap to break. But a really main area to watch out for is definitely going to be the Tennessee area. If you go to kind of far western Tennessee is where these really good soundings are going to come out. Yeah, this is a lot better than that something we just got out of Missouri. 1400 cape going to be seeing as well, a pretty rather low LCL going to be seeing as well a really strong EML just above 3 kilometers. So that's going to allow for this steepening, and as well going to be allowing for some slight cap in the higher altitude. But other than that, after that, going to be seeing some really strong cape, some really strong forcing in general. Going to be seeing some really good thermals as well, 73 degrees and 67 degree dew points. Definitely some pretty good saturation, and this is why we have a enhanced hail threat 7.5 Celsius. Going to be seeing some really good hail soundings with some of these areas. Could get some scattered hail reports that are going to be over 1 inch, but obviously this is going to be mainly a tornado threat. Really good photograph. You see this shear taking it to the southwest. A really good photograph in general, pretty large, as well as seeing some pretty strong shear at 37 for 1 kilometer, and then it really increases up to the upper 60s, and then eventually into the 70s in the higher portion. Going to be seeing some really, just look how you see those additional lines along those wind vectors or the shear vectors. That's showing you how intense that shear is going to get, as well as seeing some really good veering across this area. But it's more towards veering with height. You kind of want to see a little bit more backing with height. So there are some soundings that don't have too much veering or don't have too much backing with height. But other than that, these soundings are still a little bit good or a little bit better, as long as there's not backing in the surface that would allow it towards to gust out. and that's where you see those really high that really high decay, which we don't really have with this. And decay doesn't really matter since it is December in general. Agents weather forecast call for Ohio National Weather Center says some questionable things this morning and worded the post as Ohio became Oklahoma. Ohio's really not in the big picture for today. I mean, they do have a slight risk for the western portion. They're right on the border of the enhanced, but Ohio shouldn't get anything too crazy necessarily. So I'm not sure what you mean by that, but the main thing to watch out today is there's that moderate right now. 2.4 million people are under this moderate risk, including Memphis, Tennessee, some pretty big cities, Jonesboro, West Memphis, Arkansas, Bartlett, Tennessee. I believe Jackson's just outside, but we have as well a really large and enhanced, including 15 million people. So that's a very, very widespread enhanced risk, including Indianapolis, Nashville, St. Louis, Missouri, Louisville, and Little Rock. So here's going to be the main area to watch out for. So just look at your area, see what color you're in. So obviously the enhanced will be 3 out of 5, and the moderate is to 4 out of 5. I do not think we're going to get to a high risk, but there is this moderate risk. Southeastern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, western or far western Kentucky, and far western Tennessee. This is going to be a tornado-driven, which is definitely pretty serious considering it is December. Obviously, if it was a wind-driven or a moderate-driven, moderate risk, it'd be treated completely different. But this is going to be a tornado outbreak and not a large wind outbreak. I mean, we do have within the significant severe, we have 14 million people under that significant severe. So we have 14 million people under the chance of a probability of 10% or greater with EF2 plus tornadoes within a 25 mile an hour point, and there is 25 mile points within that shaded boundary. So definitely there is a lot of people that could definitely be the probability of getting some really intense long track tornadoes. I mean, with these overall confluence bands, with this forcing, and as well the overall good warm sector we currently have right now. I mean, if I show you guys the warm sector, if it loads, the warm sector is really, really good right now. Some really good thermos, and as well some really overplaying thermos that are definitely outplaying what we are expecting to see. Here's the overall low pressure at 994 millibars. Very, very steep low pressure. And if I show you the overall observed, the observations, going to be seeing some really good thermos, getting these dews into the upper 60s, seeing around 67 in Memphis, seeing around 66, 65 all across Arkansas. And then eventually you're going to be seeing that really strong cold front behind this low pressure. So the low pressure is around right here, so you're going to be seeing that kind of that difference in the wind vectors. Now they'd be pointing the west, while here they're pointing the south, they're pointing the southeast. You're going to be seeing, again, that difference. You're going to be seeing the difference in those wind vectors. But obviously you're going to be seeing a lot of this, or almost all of it, starting to develop just to the east of this front itself. So it is within the warm sector, seeing some scattered storms starting to develop across now Missouri. We just got new data in, so now we do have as well even some dews in towards the 60s as far north as Illinois right now. So definitely some really good thermos at this point. So overall, some really good, a really good outperforming warm sector. I know that saying warm sector sounds really weird, but yeah, we are seeing a pretty warm sector. So we are gonna be seeing some really decent instability. And like I said, we're getting temperatures right now right in the lower 60s across Illinois and the area. So we're seeing some really good thermos. Hey, what's up, Andrew's weather predictions? Andrew, you are going to be getting some decent severe weather today. So definitely going to be fun for you guys, or for you up there in Illinois. But if we look at the overall surface, moisture convergence, we are seeing some decent moisture convergence. For sure, across the portions of the lower Mississippi River Basin. Definitely seeing, like I said, we're going to start seeing some more impressive condition in this warm sector eventually later on. Like I said, right now there is still some capping inversion, which is going to be limiting much of the potential we have right now. But that's because in the next 1 to 2 hours, that's when things will get interesting. And like we just saw in the medical discussion, that 1 to 2 hours is when things will start to get interesting. Once that cap breaks, once the overall forcing mechanisms do come into play, like the warm air advection, the surface, all that goes into come into play, and yeah. But let's now look at the overall Cape. So gonna be seeing some really good Cape right now, seeing around 1,000, 2,000 across portions of the lower Mississippi River Basin across Mississippi, Tennessee, and Arkansas. These are gonna be the main areas to watch out for at least now. But as we go later on, that's where we're gonna be watching out for Illinois and Missouri. But as of now, the main area to watch out for is going to be Arkansas, Tennessee, and Mississippi. Those areas by far have the best thermos and the best overall forcing right now. Seeing the best Cape, the best surface Cape as well. Going to be seeing some really good instability. If we look at the overall LCL high, they are going to be rather low. So we're going to be seeing some meeting saturation pretty quickly here. Going to be seeing LCL high at around in some cases 500, 750, which is not too shabby, but definitely it is most likely going to continue to decrease as we go later on in the overnight hours. Wind shear, if we look at the overall bulk shear at practically 3 kilometers, is going to be pretty overall strong. There you see that really strong amplified flow from the southwest blowing to the northeast. So seeing some really strong southwesterlies, and you can just tell how intense those are by how many lines you have on those shear vectors. You can, oops, I'm not sure why I did that, but there you see about the overall shear vectors, how intense and amplify this practically neutral transitioning toward the negative tilted trough is, seeing around 70 knots, 60 knots, anywhere from 50 to 70 knots right now across 3 kilometers. And as we go towards really 1 kilometer, you're going to be seeing some pretty intense shear around already 40 to 45 knots. So definitely some really intense shear. Going to definitely stir up some really disturbed weather in the higher atmosphere and then the lower stratosphere. If we look at the overall effective bulk shear, you're going to be seeing up to 95 knots across portions of 95 knots across portions of Missouri. Very intense level of jet. Of course, this is definitely going to be a very amplified level of jet. I didn't want to have that printed out. But yeah, I'm trying to look at everything that I can really look at. Actually, I can show you guys the CINH. If we look at the actually, we can see the most unstable Cape as well. Gonna be seeing some pretty unstable Cape as well. Gonna be seeing around 500 as well, in some cases 2,000 joules per kilogram of most unstable Cape. So definitely some pretty unstable instability going on across the lower Mississippi Valley already. So definitely a pretty favorable atmosphere as early as 6:16 p.m. Eastern and 5:16 Central Time. So definitely seeing some rather early signs of a developing warm sector. We are seeing some MU Cape getting as high as 2,000. As well, we can see mixed layer Cape, how that's going on. But practically definitely some pretty intense conditions along this area. If we look at the mid-level lapse rates, like I said, they're not going to be too shabby. They are around 7.5, so that's definitely as we start to get this discrete mode, that's where you're going to start seeing this hail develop. But here's right now our most intense cell so far. We do actually have a severe thunderstorm warning. At least we did have a severe thunderstorm warning across northeast Texas. That's, I believe, our first of the day. But right now we're seeing already a pretty intense semi-discrete cell across areas to the northeast metro of Little Rock. Going to be seeing, let's see if we actually have any hail. Actually, now to speak of that, it could be seeing around half an inch. So we're going to be seeing as well some cases of some decent hail. Again, we do have a moderate likelihood on this latest tornado watch. We do have a moderate chance for 2+ inch hail. So wouldn't rule out the possibility of hail. Do not sleep on the hail threat. But again, we do have a tornado watch. It is not PDS. It is a 90/70. You need 80/80 at least for one event, whether it's tornado, hail, or wind. But yeah, we do have 2 medical discussions as of now. We have 2 severe weather related, and we have actually 1 winter related. But obviously, we're not really talking about winter right now, even though some of you guys wish we were. But we have 1 right now where we had that severe thunderstorm warning. There you see those really overall strong shear vector. It's going to be seeing a probability of 40% for a watch to be issued. So going to be seeing an overall summary of isolated to widely scattered severe storms are possible across portions of the Arc-Latex area. I'm guessing that means like Arkansas, Louisiana, and like Texas together. where the Texarkana areas. The NWS said amended to increase severe weather probabilities in northeast Texas and southeast Oklahoma. Yeah, that's actually where I'm getting myself right now. But high base, that's going to as well help to bring in some high stability across Arkansas. So that's where actually that's the reasoning for some of these cells developing across western Missouri because that pretty intense dry line. That's what we can overall get into the cams later on. But since it's about to happen in a few hours, I don't see the point of looking at cams. I'd rather look at OBS. But this is yielding ML Cape at around 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram. So we're actually seeing mist layer Cape as a high 2,000 joules per kilogram. Pretty darn high if you ask me for December. Or just in, not even just December, but pretty much in general. It's actually not too shabby. Mid-level flow and effective shear is excess to 60 knots. Therefore, further intensification of these showers are possible. The threat will likely remain isolated, but the environment is quite favorable for supercells with an initial large hail threat with an increase in tornado threat with eastward extent. So if you look at Texas, this area is only actually in a slight risk, and we already have a severe thunderstorm warning and a meteorological discussion for that area. So this just shows it's going to be real fun for the enhanced. It's going to get real fun for the moderate. And I do believe we have another meteorological discussion. I think we have a new meteorological discussion right now. And actually, I should probably pop up the National Weather Service. That would probably be smart. Let's see. National Weather Service probably smart to pull up as well in case we get any severe thunderstorm warnings or anything like that. That would definitely be something useful. But here's the overall look at what we're seeing right now. Obviously, we have winds from Atticus to the upper Midwest. That's kind of that's actually really, this is related towards the severe weather. You have that massive low pressure towards Missouri, somewhere in northern Missouri. There you see that really intense warm front along the, obviously being part of the overall warm sector, and then you have that really, really intense cold front kind of stretching all the way. And then you have that really intense dry line kind of just passing Dallas around that general area. But there's that severe thunderstorm warning towards Texas, and then we have the tornado watch. That's where we had that tornado watch. But yeah, this is just to use in the future once we start getting those warnings. But let's go ahead and look. What do I want to look at? Oh yeah, we have I believe we have a new medical discussion, but I gotta reload. I think I got a message about a new one, so let's go ahead and see. Yeah, we do have a new one for the northern portion of Mississippi. It's gonna be more towards now the Tupelo area. So yeah, we have now medical discussion. So the concerning severe potential watch possible. We do have a 60% chance of probability of a watch. Watch 52 may need to be expanded eastward into northern Mississippi and western Tennessee. So definitely going to be watching out for the possibility for some expansion. But showers continue to deepen in the warm air advection. So again, we're going to be seeing that surface-based warm air advection. And going to be seeing some pretty strong frontogenesis regime along and east of the Mississippi River. As it deepens, some low-level rotation has been evident on some of the better mini supercell structures, except this threat to continue as storms deepen further into a region of 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative helicity, around 250 meters squared per second squared per KNK VWP. Eventual severe intensity is expected out of this activity, but timing is a primary question. If these storms intensify in the next hour, watch 552 or 552 may be expanded across the remainder of the MEGCWA. However, if this storm intensity remains muted over the next 60 to 90 minutes, the area may be covered by an eventual watch, which will likely to be east of the tornado watch. So definitely watching out the chance for an additional watch for portions to the east of that tornado watch. So that'd be kind of more towards Tupelo, northern Birmingham, or northern Alabama, and portions towards south central Tennessee is practically what they're looking at right now. But yeah, we have practically a lot of medical discussions already coming in right now. Of course, we do have that large tornado watch. So we're going to continue to I'm going to continue to update you guys with the medical discussions throughout the night. And of course, if that big PDS one comes out, that would also be something I'm definitely going to update you guys on. But here, just continue to watch out this mini cell developing. We are getting some showers developing, some semi-discrete showers developing across the Ozark area. Like I said, that's going to be developing across the dry line, just to the east of the dry line. We're going to be seeing that really strong forcing. Again, dry lines are a really big forcing mechanism, especially with this really strong updraft. But let's go ahead and continue with the ARRR here. I want to continue looking at some models or some soundings. Also, what I want to show you guys something very interesting is the updraft helicity, which I'll show you guys a little bit later on. Show you guys the overall track of the potential areas to watch out for some tornadoes and whether the atmosphere is favorable for long track tornadoes based on what they're showing. But yeah, hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far, and I don't even know how long we've been going with this so far, but it's definitely felt like a while. So this is gonna definitely be a very, very, very long stream. Before I actually look at further models, I want to go ahead and just look at the overall chat. I guess I'll just play this and just do like that, I guess, while I look at the chat. So my area just got issued into a tornado watch. Mezzo issued for North Mississippi and West Tennessee. If I just saw that blaze weather. Debbie said, I'm scared. Well, let's try not to let the emotions get to us right now. We definitely want to see as calm as possible. Again, this has yet to really get to its peak, so we don't know what to expect. Again, things can bust. The events like this can do plenty of things, especially when in the off season, things can completely just change in what they're expected to do. So let's try not to get towards the emotion part. I know it's pretty hard, especially if you are in that moderate risk, but we gotta try to stay as calm as possible because you just gotta have a plan. What's up, Dwight McQueen? How are you doing? From good evening, everyone from Rushville, Indiana. How are you doing? Hope you are enjoying your evening. Let's see here. Let's see if we have any severe events or warnings or anything like that. And we now have a new tornado watch, actually. I did not see that in the Storm Prediction Center. What the heck? I did not see that whatsoever. Let's see. We have a new tornado watch now, I believe so. Yep, we do have a new one. That's now going to be for, this is Tornado Watch 553. A new watch that I actually don't think anybody that I know knows about it because I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to post that. I don't think anybody's seen that. But this is actually a little bit less intense as that first tornado watch. Like I said, we are going to be seeing definitely to watch out later on this evening for Missouri and Illinois, but definitely not going to be as intense as the lower portion of Missouri, the lower portion of Illinois, the western portion of Kentucky, western Tennessee, and northeast Arkansas, and as well portions of Mississippi. But this is our second tornado watch of the day. It's definitely not a PDS. If we look at the overall probabilities, it's a 70-50, while the other was a 90-70, so a lot less intense, but still some really high numbers. Still a 70% of 2 or more tornadoes and a probability of 1 or more that are EF2 plus is a moderate chance, which is still pretty darn high, to say the least. So definitely, although it's not as intense towards the first tornado watch, which was pretty close to becoming a PDS, this is still some pretty high numbers. This is going to be including much of central Missouri towards south central Missouri, including Springfield and Columbia, and as well including St. Louis. So a lot of huge population just got added toward this tornado watch, and now it's kind of practically connected towards the first tornado watch. So we have one large area connected to each other, but they're two different ones because obviously one has a 90-70, which is a lot more intense than a 70-50. But the probability of wind is definitely a little bit lower as well. It's a 50-30. I believe the other one was like a 70-50 or something like that for wind. But if we go back to the overall probabilities, again, a moderate, and then a low for 2+ inch hail. So definitely going to be seeing a lot less steep lapse rates and dry to back lapse rates towards the north area. And then we're going to be seeing only high is going to be the likelihood of tornadoes, which is still not pleasing. Do you think it will be bad here in Indiana by any chance? Well, it depends where you live in Indiana. I know you said your city, which is Rushville, but I actually don't know where that is. But here's the overall look at the SPC, if I can actually pull it up here. Here's the overall look at the SPC outlook. So let me pull it up. There it is. So, I mean, obviously, southern Indiana is definitely going to get some pretty nasty weather, and as well, just overall, much of Indiana is actually going to get some pretty nasty weather. So, if you're specifically in the southern portion, specifically southwest near Evansville, that's where you're going to have to watch out for the chance of tornadoes as well as some pretty intense winds. You guys are definitely going to get that large QLCS, but as well, we do have a 10 hatched probability of tornadoes across the southwestern portion of Indiana, just southwest of Indianapolis, and then the majority of Indiana is 5%. So definitely all of Indiana is in the chance for tornadoes, but the southwestern and south central near the river itself is a more intense threat. So you're 50 miles southeast of Indianapolis, so you're in a 5% tornado, and the further east you are of Indianapolis, the less likelihood you are to see tornadoes. At that point, it's going to become upscale, and you're pretty too far north where that warm sector doesn't really reach. So you're in good hands if you're 50 miles southeast of Indianapolis. You are definitely going to be still in that really intense wind for, like I said, it's going to be at that point upscale. It's going to be elevated based, and you still do as well have a decent chance for really just a wind, but there is that hail probability at a 15%. But yeah, I say your biggest threat is going to be the wind and then tornadoes followed by hail. But you're still in an enhanced risk, which is level 3 out of 5. So you're still not in a comfortable position, but it's a lot more comfortable than the 10 hatch driven enhanced. At least you're in a wind driven and not a tornado driven enhanced, because those are two completely different things. You're super welcome to wipe, and of course, if you want to get more information, I would recommend you continue to pop on and off the stream. We already have 26 likes in this stream so far, so I'd recommend you guys continue to smash that like button, continue to smash that subscribe button if you are new. I'm actually getting pretty close to 2,000, or actually not 2,000, 6,200 subscribers, so if you are new, please smash that subscribe button. I'm at 6,194 subscribers. I only need 6 more to get to 6,200, so please, if you are new, subscribe. I would really greatly appreciate it. And we're actually about to hit that 1 hour mark in this stream. But I want to show you guys the overall updraft helicity. That's what I really want to show you guys. This is definitely one of my favorite things is to look at when it comes towards models and overall the day of severe weather events, because it just gets a better idea of kind of what models are showing here and how confident they are in some long track surface-based supercells, and as well with obviously rotating updraft, which is definitely rotating updraft is definitely very, very important in the development of tornadoes. So if you see a path of updraft helicity, it's definitely not pleasing. And here's the overall updraft helicity for the next 18 hours. So as we actually go towards mainly towards now between Tuesday, the main areas to watch out for, like I said, is going to be the Illinois, Missouri area, and as well mainly the Arkansas area, with some areas across Tennessee and northern Missouri or northern Mississippi. But as we now goes towards now 3Z and then 4Z, which are to see some more areas of paths of updraft helicity. And the higher the updraft helicity, obviously the more intense that updraft will be rotating. So for example, if you're only like at 70. If you're only at 70, that's definitely still decent, but you want to see that Illinois right there is seeing a really high probability or high number at around 120 meters square per second square in that updraft helicity, which kind of takes into consideration each eye, which is energy or energy. What is it? Each eye energy helicity index, I think. And then it takes as well surface-based CAPE into consideration. But again, going to definitely watch it out. I believe this is only 21Z, so we actually can look at the 22Z as well if we need to. Oh, we have a tornado warning? Oh, we have a tornado warning. Interesting. Okay, all right, let's go. Oh, yeah, we do have a tornado warning. Wow, and that's a very, very small cell. All right, let's do it. I did not expect one that early. And I did not expect Kentucky to be the first one either. Let's go ahead and make our way towards Kentucky. I guess we can just use Paducah. Wow, I did not expect a tornado warning that early or in Kentucky. But let's go ahead and see what this is all about. So it is actually going to be include. Oh, it's just outside Murray. Oh, I actually know someone in Murray. Hold on. I know someone in Murray. Holy cow. Yeah, I know someone in Murray, Kentucky, so I may want to let them know about this real quickly. But why isn't this loading? Come on, download GR2. Sometimes GR2 just doesn't want to load, and it's sometimes pretty annoying. But yeah, I actually know someone in Murray, Kentucky, so that's actually ironic. This I'm not sure why it's not downloading for us. This is definitely definitely not something I want to have where it just does not load for us. There we go, it's downloading. There we go, that's perfect. Alright, I'm not sure. Sometimes it just takes a while to load. There we go. So here's the overall cell. It's just to the west of, what is this, Lynn Grove, and then towards Linville. This is tornado warning is going to be for, let's see here, this is going to be for northwestern Callaway County in western Kentucky, Marshall County in western Kentucky, and southeastern Graves County. So if you're in Graves, Marshall, or Callaway County in western Kentucky, just outside Murray, I would recommend you guys take shelter. We do actually have a tornado warning in this area. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Linville or 11 miles south of Mayfield, moving at around northeast at 45 miles an hour. So it is moving quite quickly. So definitely, this is not like a report of a tornado, but there is a report of rotation. So again, definitely very, very interesting. But this is definitely a pretty good cell itself. We look at the overall rotation. It's not too shabby. It's actually pretty broad, but it is tightening up a little bit towards Linville. And I actually do have a new color table for those of my other viewers who are looked at my other severe weather streams. But it's definitely strengthening. It does have a strengthening, trying to develop a couplet. So if you are in the Linville area or right now, or if you're near Kirksey, I would recommend you guys to take shelter immediately. This is definitely a trying to develop mesocyclone, and obviously there is there's reports of rotation within this supercell. So definitely please take shelter. This is, like I said, it's going to be towards the western Kentucky area, and then we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Missouri. So like I said, things are going to start to pop off. As well, including Marshall, Greensburg, Benton, all those areas across western Kentucky. Please take shelter. You guys are definitely in a pretty unsafe situation right now. But yeah, I do know someone in Murray, Kentucky, so I should probably tell them about this, even though it's not going to really directly hit them. But going to definitely let them know. Again, you should also let people know this is our first tornado warning up to date. It's definitely got a pretty interesting structure. You can kind of tell there's the main mesocyclone. That's where you see that base of that mesocyclone. And then you have that RFD trying to kind of, that reflecting downdraft trying to rotate like this. So once you start to get that really well-defined inflow and outflow, that's where we're going to be seeing some concerning maturity with this cell. But right now it's definitely trying to get some really good rotation. It's actually not too bad of rotation, but this is definitely a pretty good cell. It's pretty healthy for sure. So if you are in western Kentucky, I would recommend you guys do take shelter. We're gonna be seeing more cells practically developing along this line. So this is going to definitely be a fun day, a fun night. That's sarcastic, by the way, but here come these cells start to develop in, like I did circle a few minutes ago, the best area for forcing and thermos was across Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas, and we're starting to see that being felt as these cells are starting to develop across Mississippi, then they carry into Tennessee, and now they're carrying into Kentucky, and that's where we have our first tornado warning. So if you know anyone in these general areas, whether it's western Tennessee, whether it's western Kentucky, please warn them, because this is going to start getting a lot more intense in the next few minutes. Let's see what the chat is saying here. Yeah, just out the Paducah. And yeah, we have a lot of things are coming in now. We have new medical discussions. We have new severe thunderstorm warnings. We have a new tornado warning, which is our first of the day. We have a lot of new things happening right now. We have new cells developing. Everything's becoming just quite frankly active. So definitely, like I said, it is going to become active quite fast, to say the least. But like I said, if you haven't already done so, please smash the subscribe button and like button to help get the algorithm to recommend this video and as well channel in general towards more people. But yeah, gonna continue to watch out for updates on this. Definitely seeing some pretty intense rainfall around this area, and definitely we are noticing a trying to develop couplet to the west of Lynn Grove. So it is definitely a pretty interesting structure that is trying to unfold. But it's definitely not too bad of a cell, to say the least. It's not too shabby. But yeah, definitely gonna be a fun day, to say the least. But this is gonna be the very beginning as well. We're gonna be watching out for a tornado threat even once this becomes a QLCS. Once it actually becomes a elevated based and gust based, it's still going to bring in that probability for tornadoes. So this is going to be a long, I'd say a long 6+ hours for these areas, because it's not just going to be the discrete mode that's going to bring these tornadoes. We're not even in the discrete mode right now, and this is starting to gain a lot more rotation as we continue. So if you're in the Kirksey area, if you're in Dexter and Hardin, this is heading directly toward your path. So I would recommend you guys do take shelter, because this is starting to amp up a lot more, and this rotation is becoming a lot more noticeable. So definitely would consider you guys keep a very close eye on this. I mean, this is getting a lot better rotation, and we have nothing right now in Arkansas as of now for warning wise. We have one in Missouri. We had one in Texas earlier, and now we have our first tornado warning, which is looking pretty healthy. In high school, I wish I would have spent more time learning weather. Well, I'm definitely pretty lucky to have found this such an early age. I ain't going to give my concerns, but I'll give you a highway exit and a railroad Maya post. Think there's the debris ball on radar scope. Debris, alright, we will check the CC. I don't see anything clear with the correlation coefficient right now. I could match it up right now though with, oh, that's definitely really tight rotation. That's the overall really tight rotation that's developing coupled. We have some very weak debris. There's some pretty weak debris right now. That's something to jumping. I would have to wait maybe if we see how it is at a higher tilt. Oh yeah, we do have a little bit more of a more defined correlation coefficient at the higher tilt. But if we go back to 0.5, I don't have anything that's, at least within this run, that's absolutely jumping a debris ball as of now. I don't have anything jumping like that. But I don't have any actual report of a tornado on the ground, nor do I have an actual visual representation of a debris ball. Nothing's really updated since 6:15 p.m. Central. Well, actually, this is until 6:15 Central. Sorry, nothing has updated since 5:28 Central. So we've had a good 14-ish minutes without an update, but we should get one quite soon. But like I said, I don't have anything that's jumping CC drop. I don't have anything that's jumping that right now. Maybe if I could try to smooth it, maybe I can find something towards Lynn Grove. Let's see if this matches up. If I smooth it, maybe that'll help a little bit. And we just got to update. Yeah, that doesn't really necessarily match up with this, but it's kind of just outside that main rotation. But I think we just got a new update on the warning. Let's see here. Tornado warning remains in effect. At 5:42, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Sedalia, or 9 miles southeast of Mayfield. So it's not confirmed. There's no spotter confirmation. So it's still just a report. It's not confirmed. But this is now right on the Aurora border here towards additional county. I'm not sure what county this is, but it's right on a river. Not sure what river that is, but here's the overall the warning. This is the new update. It has now been removed from Linville. It has now been removed from the Linville general area. It was touching the Tennessee border actually, but now it's shrunk towards Almo, Kirksey. So if you're in Kirksey, Dexter, and Harding, you guys are in the direct path of this. But yeah, definitely a pretty intense cell for sure. Like I said, I don't have any confirmation that this is on the ground, and they just updated the warning, and they still have it only as a report. So, you'd think they already had it as as an actual spotter report in confirmation. But yeah, this is definitely pretty interesting. Uh, First warning of the day, and it's in Kentucky, which I did not expect. And this is the very, very beginning. I mean, we're going to start seeing warnings popping up all over the place. And as we speak, we just got one. So as this cap is going to continue to break as we go in the overnight hours, as we start to see this forcing starting to act into place, a lot of these cells are going to now form to a fully discrete mode. And now this rotation is getting really, really interesting here as we now go to Kirksey. This is actually getting some really good rotation. I'm going to go back to not smooth, the correlation coefficient, but there's nothing that's jumping a CC drop or debris ball. But this rotation is definitely pretty interesting, so I'm going to keep my eye on it. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. But like I said, if you guys are new, please subscribe to the channel as well. If you want to, you guys can as well donate to the channel and stream to help my channel as well. All that money will go towards a good cause, which would be stuff for my channel in general. What's up, Austin? How are you doing? Long time since there's been severe weather. How is tomorrow looking for Atlanta? Well, Atlanta's definitely going to get the disgusting remains of this system. It's going to be mainly just heavy rain, some strong winds, but nothing too crazy. I believe Atlanta's in a marginal. But we're starting to get these warnings popping up across Missouri. I actually want to get a quick look now at the overall surface OBS, the current OBS, because I want to see how this warm sector is looking. The overall thermos, because everything's popping off now, so I'm assuming that a lot of this cap is starting to break. But let's go ahead and get a look at the overall surface observation. Let's say the least. Let's see what's going on here, because everything's starting to pop up. So yeah, now these temperatures are starting to really increase across Illinois. Like we saw, this warm front's now pushing north. So although we're going the overnight hours, temperatures are not going to be decreasing as we go on in Illinois. In Indiana, they're actually going to be increasing as we continue, because this warm front's going to be obviously pushing that way. So yeah, we're getting a lot of storms starting to pop up now all across this area. As this warm sectors continue to warm up, now we're getting some 60s as far north as near central Illinois. It wasn't earlier in the stream, was actually just southern Illinois, but now we're getting nearly upper 60s across southern Illinois, with dews all across the mid to lower 60s across Illinois. So yeah, definitely getting some pretty good. Definitely getting a pretty good warm sector starting to develop across this general area. So this is going to be the reasoning, as well as we're going to get a lot more foresting. So we actually look at these surface-based cape. It's now increasing as well. A lot ahead of this warm front is where a lot of this cape is going to start increasing as well. We're seeing some prefrontal confluence bands developing as well. So this is also going to allow the chance for some really good moisture, advection, and convergence to be felt. But yeah, I mean, if we continue to look, it's going to be definitely some really good unstable cape. But like with this 3-hour surface-based cape change, we're actually seeing in the last 3 hours, we were seeing 400 to 200 difference in joules per kilogram. So that's definitely showing you how these conditions are getting a lot better. And actually, these thermos in general are actually ahead of what models were predicting. Event earlier today, actually, there was very, very weak instability, and we kind of knew it was going to be like that because the fact that this was going to be initiating pretty late overnight. But then in the afternoon, these thermals starting to get really impressive. So this is kind of what we're gonna be experiencing for a while, and we're getting these really good southeasterlies and as well as some southerlies. So we are going to be seeing some good veering in the very surface, which is going to allow for these particles to continue to rise eventually, and to that really areas with strong cape. You're so welcome, Austin. Again, if you are new, I would recommend you guys subscribe to the channel, and as well be sure to share the stream so we can get as many people to join as possible. Here's the latest day one outlook. Again, a moderate across the lower Mississippi River Basin towards the Tennessee and Kentucky Valley. We do have a moderate for around 2.4 million people, including a tornado-driven moderate risk. I do doubt a high risk. I really do doubt a high risk with this event. But let's go back to that tornado warning in Kentucky. Let's see how it's matured. Let's see how it has matured, and it's definitely getting very tight. Straight for Kirksey. This is actually really, really strong developing meso right now. But definitely going to have to check a look at some other states like Missouri. We now have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings across Missouri, but I'm actually hearing that we have a huge mesocyclone in Arkansas towards Jonesboro, so we're starting to get a lot interesting going on here. But right now, we do have a lot of cells starting to really pop off. In general, we do have just a lot in general to talk about. But yeah, we do have a lot of warnings going and being pressed or being widespread. But this mesocyclone right now in near Kirksey is really becoming a nasty look. It's getting a nasty look to it. If you look at the base reflectivity, it's definitely not looking the best. You can kind of still notice the overall mesocyclone. But this rotation is really getting pretty strong here towards Kirksey, Dexter, and then Hardin are going to be the areas that have to keep a very close eye on this area. So if you know anyone, if you know anyone here within Marshall, Callaway, or Graves County in Kentucky, specifically Western Kentucky, I would recommend you guys do let them know about this tornado warning, because this is definitely getting a lot more rotation to it, and it is becoming very interesting. As of now, we don't have any CC drop, nor do we have any reports of it actually being on the ground, but it's getting a very interesting look to it, to say the least. But yeah, it's definitely getting pretty interesting, to say the least. Do you have a PayPal account? YouTube takes 40%. I'd rather send you money where you get the whole thing. Actually, I do not have a PayPal. I should probably set one up. Maybe I should set one up later this week, but I do not have a PayPal. I really do appreciate the offer, though. I understand that YouTube does take a lot of the majority of the money here, which kind of sucks, but yeah, but I really do appreciate it. I do not have a PayPal, but I'll probably make one in the future when I come towards something like this, a scenario. Yeah, I wish I had a PayPal. But yeah, every donation I get, every single cent, no matter how little it is, will go towards my channel. I guarantee none of it will go to anything stupid. Let's now get a look here. Actually, when I get into some future HODOs and some of these radar stations, I kind of personally like this website because it can kind of give you a better overall idea and the atmospheric conditions in general. We're going to be looking at the overall WSR, AAD, or 88D. We're going to be looking at the VWP photograph. So I'd say we look at KHPX, which is going to be towards the Paducah area. We'll see if we have a good sounding here. This is definitely a pretty enhanced sounding, but here's the last one. Practically, you can be seeing a really enlarged photograph with some backing. We're going to be seeing some backing with height, actually, so really enlarged photograph with some really strong low level shear. So it's definitely going to really continue to carry on. can be seeing some really strong flow, getting around 38 knots at around 0 to 1 kilometers, and then 70 knots at 0 to 6 kilometers. So definitely, 0 to 6 is definitely a pretty big difference. We look now at see what we have towards the Memphis area. We did have some really ugly photographs earlier today, right in the beginning of the stream, but let's see how it's matured since then, if it loads for us. Let's see if it does load for us. I guess Nashville doesn't want to load for us, so maybe we could check Little Rock if this loads for us. Yeah, I'm not sure if any of these want to load for us. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're not loading for us, but it looks like this couplet is starting to fall apart here across Kentucky, to say the least. We have a tornado warning now in Arkansas. That's pretty interesting. Now we have our first tornado warning for Arkansas. It's now going to look now at Little Rock. Actually, I think we could use the Memphis one instead. So let's actually use the Memphis radar site. Let's see, Memphis, where are you? You're somewhere down here in Tennessee. There you go. So this is definitely going to be a trend. We're going to start seeing more and more tornado warnings, just more warnings in general to be issued as this cap is going to break, as this forcing is going to be felt. Again, as we start to see this stronger warmer advection, as we start to see these confluence bands developing, we're going to be seeing these cells really, really popping off quite quickly. So it does. I'm not sure about GR2 is very, very slow today. Probably because of the overall Wi-Fi problem I have in general when I stream. But yeah, there we go. We're gonna see if this pops up for us. But we have a warning right now. I can go ahead and read the counties. It includes a tornadic thunderstorm, which prompted the warning has moved out of the area. Actually, this has been canceled. Did I completely miss a tornado warning? I think I just completely missed a tornado warning because I was looking at OBS. Okay, well here's a cell that's going for Jonesboro. Why is it? It just popped up though. Why is it saying it's canceled? Did it automatically just canceled? Well, tornado watch remains in effect until 11 p.m. Central Time for eastern, central, and north central Arkansas. I think I just completely missed it. If anything, it was a very, very short warned storm. But look how these cells are maturing a lot more now across Mississippi. They're really maturing a lot more. And of course, we're seeing these cells popping off all across Missouri. But I mean, I'm not sure why this is canceled. It just got issued. It's very odd, but if we look at the base velocity, it's a pretty broad rotation. If we look at the correlation coefficient, it's as well. We don't have any signatures of that, but we do have 2 warnings currently across this area. At least there's 2 warnings popping off here, except it says it was, except it said it was prompted out, and it did get canceled. But here's the overall tilt at 0.8 tilt. Pretty intense rotation still at 0.8 tilt. Again, the higher tilts can be that higher altitude. But yeah, it's definitely heading towards the Jonesboro area at least. So if you're near Jonesboro, I would definitely keep a very close eye on this cell, because it does have a pretty nasty structure to it. Definitely looks like a pretty overall good supercell heading towards that way. So if you are in the overall Jonesboro area, please keep a very, very close eye on this as well. Please share this stream so we can get as many people as possible warned about this severe weather. I know a lot of people are streaming this event in general, but since I'm a smaller channel, I can probably get to your questions a little bit faster than the bigger ones. Let's see here. Let's look at the chat, see if we have anything new in the chat. Let's see here. Anything new? Nothing too new. Could be my buffering issue as well. But again, we do have season warnings now popping off across Missouri too. So let's get a quick look at Missouri. We haven't looked at Missouri yet. So let's look at Missouri up here. I think we could use... Yeah, we don't have anything. Yeah, it's just Springfield's going to be the best rare site to use. Apparently we have a new meso, so let's look at that while this loads for us. Let's look at the new meso. Let's see here. What do we have? Let's see. New medical discussion. Let's see. Do we have any medical discussion? Yeah, there is a new one here for the area where we just had that warning for Kentucky. Yep, this is the latest. We have a latest medical discussion. Actually, we have two. We have one from Missouri as well. But we have a probability of a watch is a 95% chance. Again, look at these overall, the overall surface analysis on this map in general. You can see these really good thermos getting temperatures into the upper to mid, or you're seeing temperatures in the upper to lower 60s and even mid 60s. And look at the difference. You're seeing right now some temperatures in the lower 50s and as well upper 40s across the areas to the southeast of this. But again, this is where this main warm sector is coming in. It's where you're seeing that really intense prefrontal confluence band. That's why obviously you've seen that warm front that kind of pushed in, now pushing far to the north. So that's where you're seeing that really moist lower surface. So it's going to be seeing pretty similar temperature towards that dew points. But there's the overall here's the overall medical discussion. New watch needed downstream of Tornado Watch 552. So we could see a slight expansion toward this tornado watch. A tornado watch is needed downstream of Tornado Watch 552. So most likely going to be seeing a expansion towards the new current main tornado watch. We have a warm advection showers have started producing lightning across portions of southern Illinois and western Kentucky. Expect a slow increase in storm coverage and intensity across this region. This activity, including a tornado warning storm entering Callaway County, Kentucky, will move east of Tornado Watch 552 in the next 30 to 60 minutes. The HPXW or VWP is a very favorable low shear environment with 0 to 1 storm helicity at around 400 meters square per second square, and they can the potential for some strong tornadoes. So definitely going to be watching out for that chance, like I just saw when I showed you guys that the updraft helicity and the spinning updraft or rotating updraft. This is where you're going to be, as well as seeing those higher values of storm helicity. That's going to be indicating as well a chance for some strong mesos, and that's definitely going to be a concern across Kentucky and Tennessee. So if we do have storm helicity that high across this area, we could definitely see a prompt change in or at least expansion towards the current Tornado 552. And then here's the overall another medical discussion for Missouri here across just outside of St. Louis and to the east or to the west of St. Louis. We do have a relatively higher chance for tornado potential, and the overall medical in general, we do have a severe threat is increasing across central Missouri, and a few tornadoes are likely, especially in the eastern Missouri later this evening. The overall summary is a severe threat appears to be gradually increasing across portions of central Missouri. Large hail and damaging winds gusts appear to be the primary threats, though a few tornadoes are also likely. So the main threat towards this area is going to be mainly towards elevated based conditions, but we are going to be still watching out the chance for some pretty strong supercells. But we are going to be looking at curved photographs, but long photograph dissipting over 300 meters square per second square storm helicity. So that's where we are going to be watching out for that chance of some tornadoes within some of these cells. And if I go to the right page on the updraft helicity, let me actually refresh this page, pivotal weather, because I know the 22Z is not the latest update. But yeah, we're going to definitely have to be watching out for some really good atmosphere conditions within this warm sector. So let's see here what the latest run is. The 23Z is our latest run. Let's see what they have for the updraft helicity. But we're going to probably see some good ones being, there we go, across Missouri's actually, where we have the more widespread ones and more frequent ones for the next 2 hours. So we're going to definitely have to watch out chance for some embedded rotating updrafts within some of these cells developing across Missouri. So although we have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings right now, we could probably get a warning for a tornado soon across Missouri quite soon. And of course there you have those smaller, less intense updraft or lower storm relative helicity, and of course going to be seeing some chance for some paths of some rotating updrafts. But as we now go towards Tuesday, this is very interesting. We now have a pretty large uptrend across this area, across Arkansas, and now southeast Missouri. We do have a number value of over nearly 200, which is actually, this is very, very interesting. This little pocket here, very high updraft helicity. This is definitely very interesting. I think due to the fact that the 22s practically had nothing like that. So definitely very interesting that we have that. So this is definitely, I say, uptrend. Look at all these tracks here all across Missouri, all across now western Illinois. Specifically, the more concerning one is going to be those higher, denser values of updraft helicity across those northeastern portions of Arkansas and southeastern Missouri. And actually, I want to screenshot this really quickly here and send it towards a Discord server because they're going to really be appreciating this uptrend and the updraft helicity. So definitely the main areas to be watching out for based on this run would be at the south we're currently seeing in Missouri. Those will eventually make their way towards St. Louis and the more urban areas. But definitely very uptrend, I say the least, in the updraft helicity for this 23Z. Very, very interesting though. This one little part right here is very interesting in general near south of Poplar Bluff as well. We have multiple chances for some tornadoes likely across east central Missouri, just outside St. Louis. Mainly going to be outside to the northwest of St. Louis is going to be the main area to watch out for. So those cells we currently have right now, those severe thunderstorm warnings we have right now. Oh, speaking of that, we now have a tornado warning in Missouri. So look at that, perfect timing. So this is going to be the main part, I say, at least for now. These cells that are mainly right now towards the hail side and wind side. These are actually going to be as well producing tornadoes very, very soon here. They're going to be heading to a more favorable atmosphere. It's going to be moving toward a very high cape, a very high, really high stability atmosphere. So that's where we're going to start seeing some overall instability as well as some good rotation. But let me actually screenshot this as well. This is definitely going to be pretty interesting. We're going to start getting some really, really good cells moving in towards the overall eastern portion of Missouri. Definitely going to be watching out for some more potential. So as we continue towards the further east these cells go in Missouri, that's when things are going to get very interesting. But going to start getting some really interesting activity across Missouri as these cells start to make their way towards a more unstable atmosphere. But yeah, we do have a tornado warning though right now for portions of south central Missouri. This is including the counties of Webster, Wright, and Laclede County. A severe storm capable of producing a tornado was located near Marshfield, moving east at 55 miles an hour. So this is near the Neongwa area, Marshfield. We're going to be seeing some, let's see the rotation on this. This is actually really, really strong, but it's kind of be more towards just a linear front, just a linear wind, and just gust fronts practically. But as we go towards, as these cells start to track further to the northeast, that's when things are going to get pretty interesting to say the least. But these Missouri cells are going to start getting into a more favorable atmosphere, going to be heading to a higher cape, a higher storm type helicity. So like I just showed you guys in the ARRL, we're going to be seeing a lot of those tracks now for the updraft helicity across the same exact area. So definitely matching up, like I said, definitely going to be matching up for sure. If we actually look at the overall storm type helicity in general, if we can get a look at that. Let's see where that is. Storm relative helicity. There it is. Let's look at the 0 to 3 kilometer. Let's look at the 0 to 3 kilometer. See what they have for the storm relative helicity. It's probably going to be rather high in the 300s. Probably getting close to the 400s in the next hour or so. Because definitely going to be seeing some really intense rotation within the updrafts. And as well as some really strong forcing within the updrafts across Missouri. So these cells are going to get pretty interesting. Yeah. Going to be getting some really high storm type helicity in these areas right now. We're at around 462, but this is going to be heading to really high storm type helicity environment across portions there of eastern Missouri. So really, really, really high amounts of spin across this area for sure. Wow, it's really high storage velocity. Going to be heading to a really favorable environment. So Missouri is going to definitely be fun to watch for the next few hours. And then we have a new warning there for Arkansas, so that one must be interesting. So let's go back towards Memphis very quickly. We'll go back to Missouri in a second, but let's go back to Tennessee very quickly. We're going to go back towards the Memphis radar site. I'm kind of trying to communicate with my Discord right now. We actually just got a gust of 70 miles an hour. So gonna be seeing more of a linear gusting across these more surface-based cells, but as they go into more in a more favorable environment, they're gonna be becoming more elevated or more surface-based. But these cells in Missouri are going to really become a threat later on, for sure. I do apologize if you guys hear my loud typing. I'm trying to explain the situation there in Missouri. But yeah, we do have new tornado warning here for Arkansas. So this new tornado warning is actually an expansion for Craighead and Poinsett in eastern Arkansas. So a severe thunderstorm producing a tornado was located near Tupelo. Actually, this did it produce a tornado? Producing a tornado. So did we actually get a tornado report here? Was this actually a report? Interesting. It says producing a tornado. So this is actually a very interesting scenario for you. So if you're near Jonesboro, I would recommend you guys take shelter. Weiner, Waldenburg. If you guys are in the general area, I would recommend you guys do take shelter. Let's look at the overall base velocity. And we're seeing some some decent rotation along the Aberdeen area, the Weldon area. But yeah, if you're near the Jonesboro area in the South Metro portion, you guys should definitely take shelter because look how much we're just seeing popping off now. We're seeing a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings, popping off now across Missouri, and as we do have another strong gust here in Missouri right now, we are getting some really strong gusts. We now have a unconfirmed report of a roof removed from a home and barn, time estimated from radar. That's interesting. Very interesting. Look at that report there near Hermitage. But that's wow, unconfirmed report of a roof removed from a house. That's very interesting. And that's in Missouri, obviously. That's actually just probably because it's strong linear mode just passed it right now. And again, this is going to be a really strong linear mode, kind of more towards an elevated base. That's why we're seeing those really strong, that really high hail or large hail and winds. But as we go towards a more convectively supportive, environment across eastern Missouri, these are going to become more surface-based. And let's see what county this is actually reported in. This is in... Let's see here if we can get a better look. This is in Hickory County, Missouri, or Hickory County, Missouri. Let's see here. Home and barn. But yeah, that's not from a tornado, by the way. That's just from the linear mode in the gust. As well, we do have another report here of tree down near Columbia. So we're seeing some really impactful weather. But yeah, Missouri is getting really impacted already by the severe weather. I mean, they're definitely feeling the wind for sure across central Missouri. Right now, they're feeling the linear mode, but as we continue on, these will become more elevated based. We now have very large severe thunderstorm warning there just south of Columbia. So Missouri is getting absolutely just obliterated with all these warnings and all these reports and everything, while Arkansas is getting more of the um, probably gonna get some pretty interesting, really reports across this area in Missouri, getting some really intense severe thunderstorms that are bringing some really strong winds. Actually, we're getting winds of up to 70 miles an hour. We got a report of 70 miles an hour near the Springfield area. And then we have a report near Hickory County that a roof was removed from or pulled out from a house, which is actually not confirmed yet. But again, near Jonesboro is going to be very, very interesting. Their situation, as we do have a pretty strong mesocyclone heading their way. Again, we do have a severe thunderstorm producing a tornado was located near Tupelo or 9 miles north of Augusta, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. So it is moving northeast quite quickly. So if you're near Jonesboro, you guys have pretty limited time before you guys are in the hearth of this main area to watch out for. Again, so a lot of these warnings are popping out of really pretty much popping out within thin air as the foresting is being felt all across the area. So again, foresting, higher cape, those confluence bands, everything's coming together at this point now. So we're going to start to expect practically everything's coming together practically. This is going to be the beginning of this is going to be the very beginning of the peak. I'd say the least. This is not close to the peak. It's not even close to the peak, but this is the beginning. We are getting towards the overall rising action period, to say the least. That's definitely going to be the possibility. But yeah, again, as we continue the next few hours, things are going to become a lot more interesting. So this is the very beginning of the event. We're gonna be watching out for the more tornado threats, the more tornado threat being felt later on the next few hours. But right now we're starting to get a lot of these warnings. We're now as well starting to feel these winds. So that warning in Kentucky did get just expired, and now we have all these warnings being felt across Missouri. But we do have a pretty interesting cell across Arkansas right now, especially since it's going towards Jonesboro. We do have some pretty decent rotation going on towards the Amagon area and the Averaging area. I'm not sure how to really pronounce that. What's up, Fast Guy? How are you doing? But yeah, definitely gonna be watching out for some very interesting conditions again. Uh, Pretty expanding warm sector for sure. Going to start getting some overall really good low level moisture convergence as well. Getting some really strong gusts. Actually, we got a wind up to 60 miles an hour from the east, just out of Springfield. That's in Greene County, Missouri. Source is the amateur radio, and then we do have a gust just to the north of Springfield, the northeast, which has a 70 mile an hour report near Stratford County. That is as well from amateur radio. And then we now have here a report of a 1/4 inch hail toward the further northern part of the state. But yeah, everything's starting to really come together. We now have been streaming for about an hour and a half now. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a very long night ahead. Again, all this good stuff is from Winter Storm Atticus, which is an absolute monster right now across the Midwest. I mean, this is bringing extreme snow across the Twin Cities. Uh, so all of this is kind of coming from a winter type play out. See you later, fast guys. But yeah, everything's gonna be really just absolutely crazy in the next few hours. Again, definitely we do have a significant event within our hands. So if you are in this general area within this moderate risk, I'll show you guys a moderate risk real quickly here. We do have a moderate risk that does include around, I believe it's 3.4 million people, I think so, or something like that. But here's the overall competitive outlook for today. Again, we do have a very widespread moderate risk. It's most likely not going to get a high risk, and it is a wind driven. So it's actually including 2.3 million people, including Memphis, Jonesboro, which is actually practically just about to be under a tornado warning, Bartlett, Tennessee, West Memphis, Arkansas, and then we have a very widespread enhanced risk layering this moderate risk. This is also going to be both a wind and tornado driven enhanced depending where you live. The kind of closer you are to the moderate is where that actual tornado driven will be, but in some cases outside of that 10% hatch, it's just going to be a wind driven wind threat, wind driven enhanced threat. That's going to be a little bit areas further east, closer towards Nashville, Tupelo, Mississippi, as well near Florence, Alabama. That's where we're going to be seeing that overnight QLC has some really strong surface-based cell. But we do have a pretty intense storm right now heading towards Jonesboro. The warning has not been issued just to the south of Jonesboro, so it's practically very, very close to the metro area. We're not metro because it's not really a big city, but it's near downtown to say the least. So we're gonna keep a very, very close eye. But yeah, definitely keeping a very, very close eye on Jonesboro. We're keeping a lot of eyes on everywhere practically, and we just got a new tornado watch. At least I got a report of a new tornado watch, and that's actually from that medical discussion that we had earlier that was saying we were watching out for the necessity for a new branch from the Tornado Watch 552. So now I believe we have a Tornado Watch 554, which is for to the east, which is actually what we were expecting. So this is from this medical discussion 1985. Let's see if that is the Tornado Watch. Excuse me. Let's see if that is the Tornado Watch. I'm pretty sure this is a Tornado Watch that I'm talking about, where that medical discussion said there was a 95% chance for a new watch being issued. So I'm pretty sure this is the new Tornado Watch. However, my for some reason the SPC wants to take a while to load for us. So let's see if we can get it. Yeah, we do have a new watch, and it includes a Nashville area. So I think we now have a Tornado Watch for Nashville. And yeah, 554 has just been issued. Why isn't it working though? It's not working here. That's interesting. Let's go back. But yeah, we have a new Tornado Watch for this general area. Let's see here if this loads for us now. Watches. Yeah, it's not, for some reason it's not going to be working for us, but I can just pop it up here on Twitter if it's not going to load for us. So here's the overall Twitter. Actually, let me redo that so you guys can see it better. Here we go. Here's a better look at the Tornado Watch. The Tornado Watch includes 4.8 million people, practically 5. It is including the Nashville area. It's going all the way from Tupelo, northwest Mississippi, all the way across much of central Tennessee, central Kentucky, into far southern Indiana. It is including Nashville, Murfreesboro, Bowling Green, Clarksville, all the way to Louisville, Madison, and Tupelo. So it is including a lot of areas, and it's now including the remaining part of this enhanced risk. So this is going to now start to cover. As we continue the next few hours, we're starting to get these watches start to cover the whole risk now. So we now have watches practically covering the whole enhanced risk and this whole risk in general. So if we refresh this page, you are going to be seeing practically actually has not been popped up on the National Weather Service just yet, but we do have a watch for now Nashville and toward Murfreesboro and towards Bowling Green. So Bowling Green's actually under a tornado watch now, and as well downtown Nashville is actually now under a tornado watch. So definitely starting to get a lot higher population within this area. And then let's go see if we have any new medical discussions. And as of now, I don't see any new medical discussions as of now. We have to keep refreshing because we're gonna get new ones practically almost every single 10 minutes. So everything's coming in at a very fast rate. But we're not gonna be using cams, and we're not gonna be using really the satellite imagery anymore. Not gonna be really using RAP. But let's go ahead and continue to see if we can look at any soundings in some of these areas in these areas. But let's see here. It's like everything's just practically falling apart right now. Yeah, practically everything's falling apart. Let me go ahead and type the overall. Let me go ahead and find the website very quickly, and then so I can show you guys the overall soundings that we have in some of these overall radar sites currently. So let me just go ahead and type the link for you guys, or find the link for you guys really quickly, and then I'll go ahead and pull it up. But again, if you are new to the stream, I would recommend you guys like the video or like the stream in general. Share it as well if you are, if you know anyone in this area. If you know anyone in this area, whether it's Arkansas, Missouri, anywhere in general within this risk, I would recommend you guys share it because I'm going to be covering the majority of it. And we just got 2 tornado warnings in Missouri, so I'm actually going to make my way back to Missouri here. Because right now we're not seeing anything too interesting within the Arkansas one. Like I said just a few minutes ago, these ones in Arkansas or these ones in Missouri are going to start becoming really, really scary and start to become more surface based, and that's exactly what's happening. We now have 2 additional warnings. We now have one near Plato. We now have one as well towards Marys, Dixon, Rolla. So they're going to start heading towards the St. Louis area. So as we go towards East Central Missouri, that's where things are going to start getting very, very interesting in that kind of higher forcing environment. So it's going to get very fun very, very soon. At least for weather-wise, not for the people that live here. Alright, well, while this loads for us, which is going to take a while for some reason, let's go back. We're not going to be looking at the Nanthric kilometer. We're just practically going to be looking at the current conditions, OBS, and the overall, the HRRR. So, like I was showing you guys with the overall storm felicity, we're going to be seeing these cells that are mainly severe warned, are not going to be heading into a really high, very high caped environment, a very high forced environment. If we look at the overall storm felicity again, then the upper 400 into the 600s. If we look at the overall now draft helicity in general, for 2 to 5 kilometers, we're going to be seeing some really high values across portions of Missouri, East Central Missouri, and towards western Illinois, which is exactly where we're starting to see these cells start to, of course, develop. And before we actually have those 2 additional warnings, I said, watch, a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings are going to transition towards tornado warnings, and it's exactly what's happening. There you see all these paths of practically. There you see these paths practically from the next hour or so going to be just tracking across portions of Missouri. That's we're going to be seeing that spin in the updrafts across these storms across Missouri. So we could start to see a chance for some tornadoes to drop quite soon. And then once we get towards really after 3Z, it's going to start to really minimize the huge threat. But that's exactly what's happening now. We now have we now have 3. We now have a new tornado warning. Now we have 3 tornado warnings across Missouri. So this is definitely the big story right now of today. At least right now, we now have 3 tornado warnings all across this line. And this is heading to a very, very high forced environment for sure. But yeah, I guess I was right about this whole Missouri part. It's gonna go absolutely kaboom. It's exactly what's happening. It is going kaboom, all right. It is going kaboom. So if you are in East Central Missouri, well, if you're in East Central Missouri, I would recommend you guys really stay on high alert, and I would recommend you either watch this stream or someone else's stream. Anyone that can get your information quite quickly. Just get your information from somewhere, but we now have 3 tornado warnings in the same part of Missouri, as much of these cells are starting to become now surface based, and a lot of this is kind of slightly contaminated because of just how strong the gust is from this linear mode. But we do have some really high storm to helicity. We do have these paths, like I said, like we saw on the latest 2 to 5 kilometer up to helicity. We are going to be seeing some. We are going to be seeing some strong mesocyclones, and we are going to be seeing some strong updrafts, and we are going to be seeing some very high spin within these updrafts. So we could definitely see some tornadoes that are embedded within this linear mode that are going to be reported. I would not doubt if we do see our first tornadoes of the day, or first tornadoes plural of the day, be reported across Missouri. But yeah, I hope you guys are all enjoying your wonderful day. We have been streaming so far for, I think, almost 2 hours. We're very close to hitting 2 hours. I'm probably going to try to hit the 4 hour mark, because I do have at least if it does not get postponed, I'm going to have a tennis tournament in the morning, which is an hour away. So it's going to have to be, this stream may or may not last the whole event. It probably won't. But let's go back to Arkansas. Let's see what's going on there. Again, like I said, I'm going to go back and forth between Missouri and Tennessee. Tennessee, there you are. Let's go back to the Memphis radar site, and while that loads for us, because I know it takes a while for us to load because of my Wi-Fi, let's see if I can get the overall updraft there. You see the updraft. Let's see if we do have the latest 20. We had the latest 0Z for the HWR. I was about to say 24Z, but obviously that's not gonna. It doesn't exist. But yeah, 0Z is not out yet. But with the latest 23Z is pretty up to date. But let's look at the overall mixed layer cape. Let's see how the environment is for eastern and central Missouri. Definitely going to be a pretty good environment in general. But let's see here if this can load for us. But yeah, let's look at the overall. Storage. The mixed layer cape. So mixed layer cape is going to start increasing across portions of Missouri later, eastern and central Missouri later. As you can tell, we do have around 1,200 of probably getting as high as 1,300 across the east central area by the next 2 hours. So as these cells continue to make their way towards closer to St. Louis, the environment will be a little bit better, as well. We do have some pretty good environment across the Texarkana area, so we should probably get some action around there quite soon. Around 2,000 joules per kilogram there of mixed layer cape, and then we do have some pretty good environments across the eastern portion of Arkansas and central Arkansas, so could start to get some pretty interesting scenarios there as well. So overall, some pretty good environment being set. But let's now look at the overall Arkansas area and see this warning in the overall base velocity. Oh wow, that's holy cow! That is a very amplified rotation. I do believe as well we do have a new tornado watch across portions of Tennessee. And we have a tornado warning in Iowa somehow. Not sure how that's possible. It's practically snowing in the same state. We now have another warning for Missouri. Holy cow, we are just absolutely spamming with these alerts here. Let me go ahead and practically save this. I'm going to save this and just have it as let's see here. Oops, I don't want to do that, but let's just take that. Save as. Let's do 12. Let's say 12, 10, 20. Oops, that's not what I want to do. 12, 10, 21. It's not valid. Oh well. There we go. But yeah, we are getting warnings all over the place, and I do believe we have a new. I believe we have a new tornado watch somewhere. In Arkansas, or not Arkansas, but Texas and Arkansas. It's most likely the Texarkana area. Oh, here's a new medical discussion, by the way. We do have a new medical discussion for Northeast Arkansas, Northwestern, and just Western and general Tennessee, far Southwestern Kentucky, and far Southeastern Missouri. The description is locally higher tornado threat may be materializing ahead of a mature supercell. Sustained strong tornadoes are possible over the next few hours. But the summary is obviously, again, we're going to be looking at locally higher tornado threat probability across those areas. But going to be seeing some really enhanced storm helicity, 300 meters squared per second squared. Enhanced to long curve photographs with 0 to 1, 0 to 3 against SRH. Very intensified and as well amplified a little legit, bringing in some really intense mid-level and as well lower level shear with 60 knots in the 850 millibar and then as high as 80 knots at practically 500 millibars. But hey guys, I'm not exactly sure how much longer I'm going to be streaming here. Like I said, I do have a tennis tournament tomorrow morning. It is like an hour away, so not sure how long I can, much longer last here. I believe, like I said, we do have a new watch in Texas area. We have to wait for that to load in for us. But here's the overall cell heading towards the Jonesboro area. Very interesting, very, very tight rotation as well. Missouri as well, getting some really intense action, but none of these have really drawn the tornado yet, which is pretty surprising, but they're still remaining with some high intensification, as well as some really high rotation. But yeah, it looks like we only have 5 people watching this live stream, so it looks like this live stream is has reached its peak, and it looks like this live stream has practically died. So I'm guessing everyone has transitions towards someone else's stream. At least I'm assuming. But yeah, here's this really intense rotation right now heading towards the Jonesboro area in northeast Arkansas, as well as these cells in Missouri are making their way towards the east central part of the state. They are going to be heading in towards the pretty intense part of the warm sector. Going to be as well experiencing some confluence bands, as well going to experiencing really high storm helicity and as well as some updraft helicity. So these tornadoes could possibly drop as they get closer to St. Louis. So if you're near Washington, if you're near the Union area, if you're near Leslie, if you're near even Whiteside, Felix, Lincoln, all across the eastern portion of Missouri, you guys definitely need to keep yourself in high alert. I believe we do also have a tornado warning near Davenport somewhere in Iowa. That's very interesting because they're practically very, very far up north. That's definitely very interesting. I don't not expect a tornado warning today in Iowa. It's fun the fact that there's a tornado warning in Iowa because it's practically snow, very heavy snow from Windstorm Atticus, just at like 100 miles north. But this is starting to get very interesting this cell. We're seeing some really intense opposite winds here with this cell. Seeing very strong pro radar site, and then we have some really strong anti radar site winds. So this is definitely a very interesting cell, which is located in northeast Arkansas, just to the southwest of Jonesboro, including there. Let's see here. This is going to be including Craighead and Poinsett County in the northeastern portion of the state. And we are back to only 5 people watching this stream. So I'm guessing this stream is dying. I mean, I'm just typically not really a streaming channel, so. But yeah, I'm gonna continue to keep a close eye on this. Like I said, I do have a tennis tournament tomorrow morning, so probably gonna have to end the stream quite soon, anyways. But we now have a new tornado warning now, including Jonesboro. So Jonesboro is now under a tornado warning. So that's definitely interesting. Tornado warning for Jonesboro. So if you are in Jonesboro, Arkansas, or surrounding it, you are under a tornado warning, and please take shelter. Now, immediately, please take shelter, because this is definitely a very, very intense sail, and it probably has the best rotation we've seen so far today. We do have a tornado warning in Jonesboro, so please keep a very, 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 very close eye. This tornado warning does include around 145,000 people, including Jonesboro, Brooklyn, Bay, Truman, all that good stuff. But there's that warning right here, though. Jonesboro, Craighead, Brooklyn, Lake City, Caraway, Monette, you guys are all in the areas to watch out for in this tornado warning for Jonesboro. Again, every time I think about Jonesboro, I always think about that tornado we had there. I forgot what year it was. I think it was like 2019. We had a tornado, or it was either 2020 or 2019. I don't remember, in Jonesboro. And it was definitely very, very intense. So every time I think about Jonesboro, I think always about the tornado warning. But yeah, we do have a tornado warning right now. Again, Jonesboro. So let's see what counties this actually includes specifically. So this does include South Central Greene, Craighead, Northern Poinsett, and Western Mississippi County in Arkansas. So if you're in these areas, please take immediate shelter. We don't have any additional warnings so far. If anything are being reduced across Missouri, which is definitely a good sign. But right now, Arkansas is the one. And we now have an inch report hail right now near Weiner. We do have a report here of 1.48 inches. So this is definitely some really good hail that we've been expecting all day. Meanwhile, really intense rotation. Just tell this is some pretty, as well as some pretty intense turbulence going on around here in the cell. So some pretty high turbulence, so as well as seeing that very intense rotation. And there's the overall cell. Really dirty cell here. You can kind of just see the overall mesoscale, or the mesocyclone in general, with that strong, very, very strong. We have some very strong inflow here towards the practically north of Greenfield, where that really strong inflow is being felt across this strong supercell. But Brooklyn, Lake City, Monette, you guys are all definitely in a very interesting scenario here. So if you guys are in Jonesboro, or even the area surrounding Jonesboro, please take immediate shelter. There is and I know a friend in Illinois, they're gonna like it. The fact that there's a tornado warning in Illinois. Yeah, we now have our first tornado warning in Illinois so far today. So like I said, like I was showing you guys in the overall storm-activity and the ultra-activity, that we're going to start seeing these overall tracks all over the place. But, we now have a reported tornado in Jonesboro. So now we have a reported tornado in Jonesboro. So we now have a reported tornado. Let's see the overall information here. A converged tornado is located near Weiner at or 11 miles northwest of Harrisburg, moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. So we have a tornado heading directly for the Jonesboro area. So please take shelter if you are in Jonesboro. If you are as well near the overall near Weiner, please take shelter. We do have a tornado right on the tip there of that RFD. So please take shelter. We do have a tornado heading northeast at 55 miles an hour. So practically be heading straight for Jonesboro. So this is our first official report of the day here. But yeah, we do now have a tornado report right now, our first official tornado report today, and of course it has to be in the big city of Jonesboro in Arkansas. So please take shelter if you are in Jonesboro or the area surrounding it, specifically if you are in Otwell, as well towards Jonesboro, Craighead. So please take shelter immediately. And I just got a video from someone in Discord from Jonesboro, Arkansas. And I'm actually going to see if I can play it on the stream here. So I actually just got a DM from someone on Discord that actually lives in Jonesboro, and they are sending me a video of the tornado siren going off. So let me see if I can get permission to play that video again. Best wishes for that person in Jonesboro, as there is a tornado heading their way. So again, if you are in the general area, please take shelter. So I do actually have permission to play this video in the stream, so I'm going to go ahead and download the video of the tornado sirens in Jonesboro area. It's not exactly in Jonesboro, but it is in the Jonesboro vicinity. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video. Let's see here. So here's the overall video of the tornado sirens. Again, this is from a person in Jonesboro. They sent me this in Discord, and let me go ahead and see if I can turn the volume up and stop talking so you guys can hear it. So let me go ahead and play this for you guys. So that is the video from a viewer. That is the video. Is definitely very creepy. I'm gonna play it one more time for you guys. So again, that is the Jonesboro area, which is obviously just under a tornado warning, as it is a reported tornado, of course. So again, if you're in the Jonesboro area, please take shelter. There is a tornado just to the southwest of you guys, heading directly for your path. Alright, there's a lot going on right now. I hope you guys did hear that video. Right. But again, we do have a reported tornado. Let's look at the overall, look at the intense rotation. There's that really intense tornado right there, just to the, it's moving quickly. It's going to be heading just to the east of Jonesboro. Most likely, it's probably just going to skin the Jonesboro eastern suburb area. Again, very intense rotation with the, excuse me, sorry. Very intense rotation within this Otwell area, just to the east of Otwell. So we're probably going to be seeing, that main path heading just to the Otwell area. Let's go ahead and see drop. And again, there's no clear correlation coefficient drop. It's most likely this very weak debris ball right here to the, like I said, matching up with that rotation, but very intense rotation. Very intense rotation. Again, if you are in Jonesboro, please take shelter. We do have a very intense supercell, obviously, that has already produced a tornado. Here's the overall look at this very intense cell. Again, heading straight for the city of Jonesboro. Again, this is definitely going to be a rather big threat for the city. So if you are in the Jonesboro area or the overall downtown Jonesboro, especially if you are in the eastern side of Jonesboro, I would recommend you guys due. But yeah, here's the overall look at what we're experiencing here right now. Um, but this is a really intense cell. This is a very intense cell. Let me go ahead and screenshot this. Absolutely just obliterating the area of Jonesboro. I mean, this is a very intense cell. Let me go ahead and mark this as Jonesboro tornado 12-9 or 12-10 actually. I hate how they do that. Maybe I could just do this. 12-10. Does that work? There we go. But yeah, this isn't just absolutely crazy. Heading straight for Jonesboro. This is a very beautiful cell. Very clear mesocyclone at this point. The mesocyclone's going straight for Jonesboro. As we're going to be seeing that RFD stretching its way towards Otwell. And then here's going to be the main tornado. The tornado is probably going to be somewhere around here. And if we can mark the overall rotation, yeah, practically around the dot, just southeast of Otwell. So this is going to be heading just to the east of Jonesboro. Thankfully, going to be experiencing the worst of the city. But now we have, oh my God, look at Missouri. They're absolutely flooded. Holy cow! Look at Missouri. They're being absolutely just wow. Look at Missouri, guys. I'm gonna have a ton of screenshots just from Missouri today. Holy cow. I mean, Missouri is going absolutely crazy. Thankfully, it should all start to simmer down as it goes towards St. Louis, at least go to the northeast. But yeah, this is definitely a pretty intense situation. It looks like the overall rotation is starting to die off a little bit in this cell near Jonesboro, but right now a lot is going on around this overall area. I mean, Missouri absolutely being flooded by red. Absolutely being flooded by red. And then we now do have some videos from Twitter that are being shared from this Jonesboro tornado. So we'll see what I can get from that. But definitely very intense, very intense tornado right now towards the Jonesboro area. It is going to be practically predicted to go just to the east based on this current track. Again, this was reported, and it's continuing to show signs that it's still on the ground, but this rotation is starting to simmer out just a teeny bit, but it's still rather large threat towards the Jonesboro area. But what's starting to become the hot topic right now is Missouri, like I was talking about around an hour ago, how Missouri is going to soon just absolutely blow up, and it's actually blowing up more than I expected. And if you look at the overall National Weather Service, it's just flooded by red. Missouri is just absolutely flooded by red. You just can't, there's so much red in Missouri right now, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, but yeah, if you look at the National Weather Service very quickly, it is absolutely flooded with red. So much red all over the place. And it's all just back to back, all basically part of the same linear mode where they're all kind of turning in and towards a rotating updraft at the exact same time. But yeah, look at all that red. So much red. That's absolutely crazy. And we're gonna start talking about that once this cell in Jonesboro starts to simmer down. Well, holy cow, we are seeing. We are still watching out for it. We have no confirmation this tornado has lifted, but as of now, it looks like it's still on the ground. If we go to the higher tilt, you could probably see it a little bit better. But really intense look at rotation. If you go to the higher tilt, it goes even more intense. You got 0.8, very, very intense rotation, still at 0.8, but it is starting to become unorganized. But as of now, we don't have. But yeah, we are seeing some pretty nasty conditions ahead overall along these areas. I'm gonna see if I can get this sounding website to work again, because this would be pretty helpful. But this rotation is still very, very tight. It's gonna head just heading straight for the overall, heading straight for the overall Jonesboro area practically. So really big threat. But if we look at the overall, if we look at the overall ZDR, we're seeing some really high ZDR values for sure as well. If we look at the overall SRV, you can see the really intense rotation as well, showing you indication that we are seeing indication of this movement. And then we're seeing 33 knots of turbulence along this, so we are seeing extremely intense, extremely intense turbulence, and that means obviously rotation. And let's see what the overall update. And holy cow, we have a PDS tornado warning. We have a PDS tornado warning. PDS tornado warning. PDS. We do have a PDS tornado warning. That's absolutely crazy. So it confirmed a large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Greenfield or near Jonesboro, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. You are in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be destroyed. Considerable damage to homes, businesses, and vehicles is likely to be, and complete destruction is possible. Complete destruction is possible. This is an absolute monster storm. Holy cow. This is an absolute monster storm. I thought it was starting to downturn a little bit, just a tad, but holy cow. This is an absolute monster storm. Let me save this bad boy. Actually, I'm just going to replace this with that. Holy cow. This is absolutely just crazy. Complete destruction. Holy cow. We now have a PDS tornado warning just for the majority. It's obviously including downtown Jonesboro, but this is primarily going to be for the areas east of Jonesboro. Absolutely crazy. This is extremely dangerous. But extremely tight rotation to the east of Jonesboro. Again, this is a particularly dangerous situation. Our first of today. So our first tornado report of the day is now a PDS tornado warning. Again, it says quote unquote complete destruction. Holy cow. So if you're in the Jonesboro, Craighead, Brooklyn area, this is absolutely just crazy right now. Wow. This is absolutely crazy. PDS, it was a reported tornado. Now it's a PDS tornado warning. Again, we do have, for those who are new joining the stream, we do have a PDS tornado warning. Very intense situation here across Jonesboro, anywhere east. This is a very strong couplet right now. Very strong couplet for sure. Not even a question. Holy cow, that's just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. That is extremely tight rotation just to the southeast of Jonesboro. Again, there is a report of a very large and dangerous tornado. Again, we have a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Greenfield or near Jonesboro, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. I believe there is a photo here. I'm not sure if it's an actual. This is actual confirmed, but here's a so-called photo. Significant cone tornado now affecting southern Jonesboro. So it's not exactly confirmed, but I don't think this is confirmed. Yeah, this is actually not confirmed. This is from 2012. Never mind. See, this is why you have to fact check. That is from 2012. That's why I was saying it's probably gonna fact check it because that did not look like that did not look like what we would see today. That is from this is not from today, by the way. So for those who just saw that, that was before I even checked it. I'll just show you guys the photo, and then I realized, oh, this is definitely not from today. So here it is. This is not from today. This is from the Manchester, Oklahoma tornado from April 13th, 2012. So this is not from today, by the way. This is not the Jonesboro tornado. It is. This is just getting out of hand. Everything's getting out of hand right now. We have so many warnings. Everything's going absolutely crazy right now. Going absolutely crazy. This is blowing up like I expected it to. Everything's blowing up right now, including Missouri's blowing up. However, there's significantly a lot less tornado warnings, but also there's more tornado warnings than severe thunderstorm warnings now. So that is definitely very interesting. Like I said, they're all going to kind of stay northeast of St. Louis. That's where the overall tracks are predicted to go and follow along that warm front. And then there we have that really intense tornado warning now. Still, Craighead, that is really still rather intense. Still really intense rotation right now. No signs of it stopping. But yeah, for those who are just joining in right now, we are watching out a PDS tornado warning right now that's just about passing the east of Jonesboro. So thankfully, downtown Jonesboro is not getting impacted by this necessarily, but they are definitely still hearing the tornado sirens. By any chance you think there will be a tornado chance in Georgia? No, I don't think so. There could be maybe a scattered, very weak one in northwest Georgia, but very low confidence in that. I generally think it's just going to be pretty much a flooding threat. I don't see anything too crazy. But yeah, please share the stream, guys. We only have 7 people watching. Let's try to get as many people as possible to watch this stream. Again, we have a PDS tornado warning right now. We have like an additional 8 tornado warnings in Missouri. Let's try to get as many people to watch this, guys. Let's try our best to get as many people as informed in this weather. Again, like I said, there is a tornado warning right now. It is obviously a PDS tornado warning, our first of the day, which is in Arkansas. Not only is this our first PDS of the day, but it's also our first reported tornado of the day. So our first reported tornado of the day was a PDS. So that's definitely, I guess, definitely moderate worthy stuff there. The first reported tornado is a PDS. That's definitely some good stuff right there, to say the least. Definitely Some good stuff to say the least, though. Like I said, we are definitely watching out for a really intense scenario. We kind of did have there. If you see that, there's that or overall correlation coefficient that we saw. There it is, practically right there is where this correlation coefficient is. It's gonna be right here. That's where that CC drop is. It's pretty disorganized, but it's definitely there. There is that overall CC drop. It's definitely not as visible, but if we go on smooth, you can kind of see it. That's where that overall correlation coefficient drop. I'm not sure if it's this one because this doesn't really match up with that rotation, nor I don't think it does. Yeah, but this one kind of does match. It also kind of matches that hail icon, which would typically be just outside that tornado, and that's exactly where that rotation is. So I'm pretty sure if you look at smooth, it's a lot easier to tell that this is the CC drop. But now we have a new tornado warning now stretching in toward now far southeast Missouri. So we now have a tornado warning. This is still a new PDS warning, a southeastern Green, Craighead, Mississippi County, and Duckland. So now we actually have southeastern Missouri, including Duckland County. So we now have another PDS warning, another PDS tornado warning, to say the least. So we have another PDS, or I guess you say an extension towards this this current PDS we have right now. So we have another PDS warning, including Missouri, Duckland County. And again, this is a very, very dangerous scenario. So if you are now in Leechville, Manette, Manila, and then of course towards Hornsville, southeast Missouri, please take shelter immediately. So this very fast-moving tornado is now going to be heading directly northeast at 55 to 60 miles an hour. So if we do that math, it's going to basically go around somewhere over here if it stays on the ground. So if you're near Manette, Lake City, Leechville, I'd say you guys are the ones that should definitely take shelter immediately. Again, definitely keep a very, very close eye on this. Two PS warnings right now. One's kind of the extension to the other, or at least the first one. Okay, this does include the Hornsville area. And if we look at the overall correlation coefficient, you can kind of see an overall debris ball, a very small debris ball towards the areas here. Towards the ears just outside Craighead where that debris ball is right now. Look at that rotation. Holy cow, that is just absolutely mental rotation. This is just absolutely mental rotation. Holy cow. Let me save this one. Let me save this. Jonesboro PDS 1210. Absolutely mental. That's absolutely mental rotation. Lord have mercy. No wonder this is just absolutely crazy. And now we have another tornado warning just outside North Little Rock. This is just absolutely crazy. And we have a photo now from Retimmer, which is obviously a lot more of a reliable source than that first source I just showed you guys. So let's see if we have a photo from that here. I think we do have a better reliable source here from Retimmer. Let me see if I can get that Twitter post here. So here's a Twitter post from Retimmer. If you don't know who Retimmer is, then you definitely don't do weather, because Retimmer is obviously pretty famous on the weather community. So this is obviously a more reliable source. Retimmer, who's actually currently streaming. Here's a picture of the overall funnel cloud, or the overall tornado itself. It's obviously there's more defined, and then you kind of have the overall base. There's the overall mesocyclone. There you have the overall really high ecotops. Here's the overall structure. Here's the main mesocyclone. It's going to be somewhere over here in the mesocyclone, the main cloud base. There you have that overall tornado. And then it looks like there's really intense rain with this tornado, so it's probably its updraft is probably not too far from its downdraft, because there is really heavy rain across this area where that tornado is, if it's obviously confirmed. But we also now have another picture here from another reliable source. This is going to be from Will Wise. This is as well a picture with a flash on from, this is going to be just out of Jonesboro, so it does kind of match up with the picture of Reed Timmer being a rather smaller funnel cloud dipping down like that. So there's that funnel. Really strong cloud base. So again, this is going to be stretching from that main mesocyclone. So definitely getting confirmed pictures as we go throughout the day. But again, keeping a very close eye on this Jonesboro situation. Again, if you are new to the stream, we are currently live streaming this pretty intense situation and very dangerous situation across Jonesboro and heading towards southeastern Missouri, as we do have two PDS tornado warnings, and this rotation's just getting tighter and tighter. And we are watching out the chance for a debris ball somewhere across this area. It's probably going to be somewhere over here is probably the debris ball. I'm guessing this is the debris ball based on it matching up with the overall base velocity. But as well, we do have some pretty intense hail, getting hail to around 1.2 inches as well. We do have some very intense turbulence, getting turbulence up to 35 knots, so very intense turbulence. So as well, we do have NROP getting as high as really 2.08, so very high NROT. So overall, very high or very intense rotation in general with this system, for sure. And it's just definitely getting pretty intense, as well as ZDR is getting pretty high at around 20 ZDR, very high. But look how intense the storm is. This is just a very I wonder what this looks like. It's smooth, actually. Let me see what it looks like smooth. I don't have it. This is what the storm looks like smooth. Very intense storm for sure. Even it looks even more intimidating smooth. But here it is, obviously, with the non-smooth. But again, this is now heading its way towards the Hornsville area in Cardwell, southeast Missouri. So if you're in that general area, please take shelter immediately. Excuse me, sorry. And then we have another tornado warning, I believe, for Kentucky. So yeah, everything's getting pretty crazy right now. But right now we're specifically focused on the here on the Hornsville storm right now, or at least it's heading towards Hornsville. And yeah, we are getting new tornado warnings by the second here. I'm not sure how many tornado warnings we've had so far, but let's just count how many alone we have in Missouri. So we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tornado warnings there in Missouri. We have 2 in Arkansas. We have 1 in Kentucky. A ton of tornado warnings right now. Seems as if we're starting to get some damage reports, at least what I'm seeing so far. Let's see here. Jordan Hall here has a video here from the Jonesboro tornado across the road. Let's see if we can. Oops, that is really loud. Oops, that is really loud. Here is a video. This is the video here from Jordan Hall. Very intense. But yeah, that is a very intense video there of the extreme winds from that tornado. At least what we're seeing. But again, if we look at the overall, seeing some really intense numbers here. Again, gonna be seeing some really intense hail. Of course, gonna be seeing. If we look at the values, you can get values up to 2.23. Again, gonna be seeing values of 2.23 inches. Very high numbers in general. For sure. For sure, really, really high numbers. But yeah, we now have NROT values around negative 0.61 for the minimum, but the overall maximum is 2.39. And then yeah, we're overall seeing a pretty intense storm in general. So the overall ecotops are around 50,000 feet in general. So pretty high ecotops, but look at this rotation. This is just absolutely mental rotation. Holy cow! This is a monster storm. Absolute monster storm. To the overall motion of the storm, the hail. Seeing a lot of overall turbulence with the storm in general as well, and the swirlation coefficient drop isn't as noticeable right now, but yeah, we are seeing a pretty nasty storm here for sure. There's no question. This is a very nasty storm heading straight for southeast Missouri. Practically just straight went through the eastern portion of Jonesboro. We have videos of photos and videos of the overall storm itself. Very nasty looking storm in general. So definitely this is definitely the highlight of the day so far. We now have a ton of severe thunderstorm warnings across Arkansas. Again, I'm not going to be streaming this whole event though. Like I said, I do have a tennis tournament in the morning. So who knows? Once these warnings start to fall off a little bit, I will end the stream here. But I won't be ending the stream at least anytime soon unless these warnings just drop out of nowhere, which I don't really expect. Alright, but gonna get an overall look now at the southeastern Missouri. Again, if you're near Hornsville, you're gonna get that FFD there of that cell. So you guys gonna get that really intense winds right now in Cardwell. If you're near Hornsville, you're gonna start getting those really intense winds as well. And then you have the RFD toward the Black Oak and Lake City area. That's where we're having that main stretch of that really strong RFD, as well as that really strong outflow and inflow. So that's going to be seeing that really that kind of look, that little hook echo look, at least say the least, or that that kind of bird beak structure, or that hook structure, to say the least. That's where we're going to get that structure from that really RFD, that inflow and outflow all coming together is going to give you that really, really, really good structure of that hook. But yeah, getting some really intense hail right now towards just between Brooklyn and Lake City. Getting some really intense hail. Overall, just really, really intense numbers across this area. I believe we do have the values of 71 VROT. Very, very intense. This is just a very intense zone in general. Holy cow, this is just very intense. Absolutely crazy storm. This is just a monster cell. This is just by far some of the strongest rotation this is easily the strongest rotation we've seen today, but probably some of the strongest rotation I've seen in Ohio in general. I mean, look at this. This is just not weakening whatsoever. Now, Jonesboro's actually out of the tornado warning now, but it's still like an absolute monster. This is definitely the highlight of today. I don't see this getting beaten whatsoever. We may have a bigger tornado, but I don't see any rotation being beaten like this. Let's just put this PDS tornado 1210. Absolutely just mental. We're seeing some pretty intense numbers, to say the least. I mean, absolutely just crazy. Maybe we can do panels here. Let's do 2 panels, so you guys can get a look. Yeah, this is better. That's what we like. So yeah, here's the overall look at the cell. You guys can get a better look at the overall structure of it. But this is This is just a absolute monster storm. This is definitely easy. That's some of the most tight rotation I've seen in a while. Easily. This is a absolutely extreme couplet. This is the strongest couplet I've seen in a while. This is just absolutely crazy, guys. Brooklyn, you guys are now in the neck of the woods. But if you're now north towards the Monette area, if you're directly near Monette, Black Oak, Leechville, eventually Hornsville, you guys need to keep a very, very, very close eye on this. This is just absolutely crazy. The velocities are absolutely mental. I mean, look at that rotation. That is just absolutely mental in your Monette. If you're near Monette, please, excuse me, please, please take shelter. This is not a fun situation at all. This is a very, very intense situation. Again, it is a PDS tornado. Has a history already going through this area. And it's just intensifying as we go. This is just intensifying as we go. This is just absolutely crazy, guys. But let's see, so we can get a look at the overall V-rot here. Absolutely just a monster cell. This is just absolutely crazy. 1.38 inch. Absolutely mental. I believe we have a V rod of 84.5 knots. Absolutely just mental. Absolutely mental. This is just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Not sure if I've seen anything like this in a long, long time. I wonder if I can get like a 3D of the storm. Let's see if I can get a good 3D of the storm. Oh, this is just a monster cell. This is just a monster storm. Here's a look at the base velocity. So there you see those really strong winds going towards the radar. So the radar we're looking at is Memphis, right? Yes, it's going to go to the radar, and then we have the underneath going against the radar. So there you have these really, it's kind of, at this point, it's mixing right here. So this is where the tornado is right here. So you kind of see they're kind of one on top of each other. So it's going to bring in some really strong linear lines. But right here, they're like right on top of each other. Right here is where you see it near Lake City. That's where we just play it. Yeah, there it is right there. They're right on top of each other. That is where this tornado is right here. There you see that really strong structure of it kind of going against or towards the wind, then against the wind, towards the wind. And then here's that really strong updraft. This is where the really strong updraft is going to be right here. And this is where the tornado is right here, just near Lake City. So if you're near Lake City, please take a shelter absolutely just immediately. This is absolutely crazy. Again, there it is, that lower eclipse where that tornado is going to be located right there. We can maybe edit it a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better. Trying to see how I can fix it. There you go. Here's a better way to look at it. There it is right here, though. There's that tornado. There's a better look at it. Yeah, there's that big tornado right there. There's that boy. Absolutely just mental. Let's see if we can do another look at it. We do that. You can't really see how high the debris ball is, but there you see how intense that rain is, getting as high as practically 70 decibels, up to 30,000 feet. But this is a very, very intense storm. I mean, it is just absolutely crazy. This rotation is still absolutely mental. It is just not weakening. And we 16 current tornado warnings. This is just absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. I don't know when I've seen something like this. Just absolutely crazy, guys. This is just absolutely crazy. The warnings keep coming and coming and coming. Look at all these warnings here. Warnings all over the place now. Oh my god, this is just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. This is just an absolutely crazy cell. Oh my gosh. Let's see if we can get like a CC. And okay, there we go. There's a CC. There it is, right there. Absolutely crazy CC. Holy cow, maybe I should get all 4 panels. Maybe ZDR or... Yeah, maybe we could leave this one to ZDR. Oh, holy cow. Look at that CC drop though. That is absolutely crazy. Right towards Leechville. We have an absolutely crazy debris ball right here near Leechville. Look at that, guys. Absolutely monster debris ball right towards Leechville. We now have a third PDS warning. It is now making its way in towards Mississippi now. Mississippi is now included in this PDS warning. So now we have northeastern Mississippi County, Scott County, southeastern Duncan County, western Dyer County, northeastern Lauderdale County, and southwestern Lake County, which is in West Tennessee as well. Actually, that's not Mississippi. That's not Mississippi. That's Tennessee, not Mississippi. That's Tennessee. So western Tennessee is also in this as it includes Dyer County, Lauderdale County, and Lake County. So this is now moving closer towards Tennessee as well. Just an absolute monster. There's that. There's a debris ball though. There's an absolute monster debris ball near Leechville. Holy cow! Let's see actually how high this goes. Let's see how high this goes. There it is. Right there is that debris ball. At 30,000 feet, guys. 30,000 feet is where that debris ball is. Holy cow. Absolutely just mental. This is really high up. This is just a monster storm. At this point, it's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Absolutely just crazy what this storm is doing here. This is probably going to become a long track storm. Lord have mercy. This is definitely the highlight of the day. The Jonesboro tornado now it's heading all the way up and towards Leechville. Absolutely just crazy debris ball. Holy cow, this is just crazy. But there's that large debris ball. Absolutely crazy debris ball. Excuse me. But there's that storm right there currently. There's that really... Oh my gosh. This is... This is just absolutely crazy. I mean, this is absolutely mental. Wow. This is absolutely crazy. The fact that it's getting better structure. We have now a clear hook developing here. I mean, look at Smooth, though. Smooth just gives you a better idea of this hook developing. We have a monster hook trying to develop along this right now. A monster hook is trying to develop. This is absolutely crazy. If I take the hail icon out, you guys can see it better. Just absolutely mental hook. This is just getting worse and worse and worse at the moment. This is just getting worse and worse. This is just developing a super crazy debris ball. Holy cow. Absolutely mental. We now have a tornado warning there across portions of western Missouri, western Arkansas. We now have the warning there in Kentucky is now starting to, at this point, it's probably more expired. Now we have a reported tornado in Missouri, which is, oh my gosh, now we have St. Louis. St. Louis is now under a reported tornado. Oh my gosh, a tornado producing storm was located over Augusta. Now we have St. Louis. Now St. Louis is in a tornado report. This is just getting absolutely crazy. But look at the cell in Arkansas. It's just becoming an absolute beautiful hook. Oh my gosh, that inflow is absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. Absolutely crazy. I mean, this is just getting worse and worse at this point. Jonesboro, now St. Louis. These warnings just keep spawning and spawning and spawning and spawning. I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, look at the National website. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. This is just absolute. There's so many warnings everywhere. This is just absolutely mental. I mean, this storm is lasting so long. I mean, it's been since down here, practically towards Amazons when it started. Now it's all the way practically near Hornsville. It is tracking all across northeast Arkansas now, making its way towards southeastern Missouri. There's that debris ball really widening out as it's going straight for Hornsville. So if you're in Hornsville, please take shelter immediately. This is not a scenario you want to be in. Again, this is still a part here in Hornsville, Hollywood, anywhere near that general area. Absolutely mental. Again, we do now have one for St. Louis. We now have a few warnings getting there in Illinois. I mean, this is just absolutely mental. I don't know how to put this other than the word mental. I mean, God, holy cow, this is crazy. This is absolutely, I cannot explain this. I really need this warning to go away as fast as possible so I can get the sleep I need for my tournament tomorrow. But no, this has to last so late. We are now 4 subscribers away from 6,200. So if you are new to the channel, I would recommend you guys subscribe to the channel. Again, I greatly appreciate it a lot. But yeah, here's the overall look at what we're seeing right now with this monster Arkansas storm now making its way towards Missouri. It's about to cross the border very soon here. It's about to head straight for Hornsville. Here's the overall base reflectivity. It looks like an absolute monster hook. I mean, it has extreme inflow. I mean, there's no other way to put it but just absolutely monster storm. Just absolutely crazy. There's no other way to put it. We're seeing 66 decibels. We're seeing a max of 123 miles an hour. This is just absolute. I don't know how to put this. ZDR is just skyrocketing. If you go towards the turbulence, we're seeing up to 35. We're now up to 30.1. This turbulence is probably going to get absolutely crazy now. Again, these warnings are keep popping up. We now have a tornado warning for Branson, Missouri. We now have one for Washington and West Fork, which is actually at this point I think it's actually expired. Now we have so many warnings all across central and eastern Arkansas. This is just going to be non-stop. And now we have everything now going towards St. Louis. Everything is just going absolutely mental right now. St. Louis is now under a tornado report. Let's see an update on that one right now. So we do have a tornado warning for southeastern Calhoun County and southwestern Illinois, Jersey County and southwestern Illinois, and then we have St. Charles and east central Missouri, and then northwestern Jefferson and east central Missouri, southeastern Lincoln and east central Missouri, Franklin and east central Missouri, St. Louis County and east central Missouri, and then southeastern Warren County and east central Missouri. At 7:34 p.m. Central Time, a tornado-producing storm was located over Augusta, moving east at 50 miles an hour. So again, if you are in that general area near St. Louis, you guys definitely need to keep a very, very close eye on it. But right now, I'm very, very focused, as you can tell, on Arkansas. This massive now it's making its way towards Missouri. I believe it's now across the border and is now basically going straight for Hornsville. So if you're in Hornsville, please take shelter immediately. Oh my gosh, look at that debris ball. Holy cow. Absolutely crazy debris ball. That's absolutely mental. That is absolutely crazy. This debris ball is becoming more dense and more clear by the moment. This is now widening towards Hornsville. This is just apps. I don't know how to put this. Let me see if I can get another 3D of this. Not sure why it's not working. So let's go look here at the base velocity. And this is just all over the place. It's most likely meeting right down here. And that's where that really intense rotation is. Not sure why that one's not working. Not sure, but that's kind of the one we want right now. But oh well, it's not working right now. But there it is, widening straight for this is just absolutely mental right now. Again, if you are now in if you're down southeastern Missouri near Hornsville, please take shelter immediately. This debris ball is now widening as we speak towards your area. Very, very intense rotation, straight heading for the Hornsville area. This is just absolutely mental. It's absolutely mental. Look at Hornsville right there. They're practically just in the middle of this mesocyclone, in the middle of this worst of this absolutely just mental storm. V-Rot's absolutely insane. Seeing 163 miles an hour max on some of these cells, or on the winds in general. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, delta velocity numbers or delta velocity winds are off the charts. I mean, it's insane. This is an insane day for sure. I mean, at this point, this day's already starting to verify already, and it's not even in the main 15. At Hornsville, you guys are getting absolutely hammered right now. So if you're in the portion there southwest, or southeast, southeast Missouri, you guys definitely need to take shelter right now. As well, if you are new to the channel, please take shelter immediately. Hello, Red Ziplin. How are you doing? It's 65 degrees today. Normally, it's in the high 30s for my part of Ohio. Yep, it's been a very, very warm part of the week here because of this warm front and this overall very stubborn ridge pattern. But holy cow, just, oh my god, look at this. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely mental. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I need to save this. Absolutely insane. Look at that debris ball. Oh my god. That is absolutely insane. A massive, I mean massive debris ball. Holy cow. This is absolutely just insane. Oh my gosh. This is just mental. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely crazy. This is just absolutely crazy. Like this is almost like to the point where this is just this is crazy. This is too hard to believe at this point. This is just hard to believe. This is hard to believe. This is just absolutely insane. I just do not know how to describe this. I knew we were going to be seeing some long track tornadoes and some pretty intense tornadoes today, but I did not think we are going to be seeing something like this, going absolutely just straight through Jonesboro now, going, I mean, at this point, it's just getting stronger, stronger, and stronger, and stronger. This is just not weakening at all. I've been getting good 50 to 60 miles right now. This is absolutely insane. We now have another official report near Springfield. Branson, too. I mean, practically almost every well-known. This is absolutely crazy. With this debris ball, this is, I cannot, I just don't know how to describe this at all. This is absolutely crazy. This is probably going to be, for the record books, it's going to be very intriguing to see what rating this gets, because the way this thing has been just continuing to have mental inflow. The way it's having monster RFD, monster mesocyclone, monster couplet, one of the biggest the most intense cloud blast I've seen in a while. This is going to be a very, 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 this is going to be a one to remember for sure. We now have new tornado warning for Newport. Some of these tornado warnings are expiring in Missouri, which is obviously very good. While we are seeing, of course, that confirmed tornado near Branson. But I'm more concerned toward this one right here in, obviously, Arkansas. Again, keeping a close eye on some of these other tornado warnings here. Very close eye on some of these. I believe we do have a few ones in Illinois to keep a close eye on, but I'm not going to keep my eye off this one until it for sure dies, because this is by far the most intense one. I do have some photos here on Twitter of trees being ripped off. I mean, this is going to be exciting to see what we have for tomorrow, for it to do the survey tomorrow or something. But Monette, Arkansas just got. I mean, Monette. We're getting photos as far south as Monette, all the way down there, and this is obviously all the way now, eventually towards Rives. This is in Rives all the way now. And tornado emergency. Tornado emergency. We now have a Tor-E. We now have a tornado emergency. We now have a tornado emergency. Tornado emergency right now for, I believe this is going to be for, let's see here. Yep, there it is right there. A tornado emergency. You can tell by those black lines. A tornado thunderstorm which prompted the warning has moved out. Yeah, but we have a tornado emergency right now. Here it is. I'll pull it up in the Discord server. There it is. Tornado emergency. Right there. Damaging tornado. This is going to be for around 22,823 people. Absolutely mental. This is going to be from practically all three states, bordering all three states, Tennessee, Missouri, and as well Arkansas. But there it is. Right there. A tornado emergency. Absolutely just mental storm. I don't know how to put it. This is definitely going to go in the books for sure. This is easily going to go for sure. Tornado emergency. So we already have a tornado emergency today. Already. This is the first tornado of the day. This tornado has come a long way. It's finally a tornado emergency. I was actually talking in the Discord how this should have been a tornado emergency, and then right after it was named a tornado emergency. So we have a tornado emergency, guys. This is absolutely crazy. This is just absolutely crazy. Tornado emergency. Tornado emergency. Absolutely mental. This is just absolutely crazy. This is, I mean, this is just crazy. There's a tornado report right there. This is kind of where it was technically firstly spotted, 4 miles northwest Bay. But obviously, it started all the way down here near Amagon and Wallenberg, but it wasn't necessarily reported down there. And it's starting to weaken a little bit. Just a tad, but we know how this has already weakened and then recycled. But this has been a pretty long track storm for sure. This has definitely been a pretty long track storm. There's no question. This is just absolutely crazy. Holy cow, this is just absolutely crazy. There it is right there now, going right towards Braggadocio. So if you're near Braggadocio, please take shelter immediately as well. Pemisville, I would also recommend you guys do take shelter. So please take shelter if you're along the Mississippi River near Tennessee, bordering Missouri, and vice versa. Because this is still most likely still on the ground. Look at CC. Yeah, this is still on the ground. This is still on the ground. It looks like it is starting to weaken though. This is just absolutely crazy. I do apologize if I'm quite silent right now. I'm trying to communicate right now in Discord about this whole situation. Again, I do have people that are on the path of all this stuff, so I'm trying to communicate with them. I do apologize. But again, we do have this really intense storm now going directly for Brigadio. So if you're near Brigadio, please take shelter. Like I said, this is most likely going to enter Tennessee as a tornado emergency. So this would be a tri-state tornado. Look at all these reports now. Look at all these reports just from this tornado alone. Just in a straight path. Just an absolute straight path. This is just absolutely mental. Reports. I mean, these aren't even all. Because again, this has obviously been reported all the way down here near Otwell and Weiner. This is just absolutely crazy. This I can't explain this I don't know how to explain this feeling. Like a tornado emergency and a tri-state tornado emergency in December. And then we have a new tornado warning, a new tornado emergency. New tornado emergency now for portions of western Tennessee now. So we now have two tornadoes. We now have two tornado emergencies. We now have two tornado emergencies right now in December in Tennessee and portions there of Missouri. So we do have a tornado emergency for eastern Pemiscot, northwestern Dyer, western Obion, and Lake County in western Tennessee. So if you guys are in this area, please take shelter immediately. So this is our second tornado emergency of today. This is absolutely crazy. So if you are in the Hornbeak area, Sandburg area, Tipton area, Weinberg area, Ridgely area, please take shelter immediately. This is not only just a dangerous situation, but this is a emergency. A confirmed large and destructive tornado was observed near Deering, and Deering is all the way down here. Down here, I believe so. Yeah, Deering's down here, but this is just absolutely. This is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely crazy. This is definitely going to be in the record books. This is absolutely just... This is just absolutely crazy. This is going to be remembered for many, many years. And I don't want to sound dramatic about that, but when's the last time we've had two tornado emergencies in December for a tri-state tornado? It's now making its way into its third state. This is just... This is absolutely crazy. But right now, it's not looking as to say at least impactful. It does seem as if the CC drop or the overall correlation coefficient is starting to kind of mix and just look pretty overall scattered and very disorganized right now. So we don't have a really good look on this currently. This is just absolutely crazy. You have 4 tornado reports, right? All the way from Bay all the way to Missouri, and then you have 2 tornado emergencies. Actually, a 5th tornado report right there. That's 5 tornado reports. 5 tornado reports. 5 tornado reports from same cell. That's probably going to be a lot more. I don't understand. This could be argued alone just to help this make it high risk, honestly. This is just thank goodness I did not end this stream when I was going to, because I almost missed out on probably the most historic thing I've ever streamed in my life. I didn't stream Dorian, so that doesn't count. I didn't stream the Easter outbreak, so that didn't count. But just absolutely crazy. It seems like it's trying to recycle. Trying to, or at least attempt to. This is just absolutely crazy. So a lot of the warnings now are kind of dying a little bit. But we do have a few reported, again, one including St. Louis. Let's see if this one is a PDS. Nope, that one's not a PDS. Surprisingly, even though it's in St. Louis. Was at 7:46 and it's still going on. This has been going on for an hour and 20 minutes. There's that tornado right there. Here it is for whoever's still watching this stream. There it is. Obviously, there's a lightning flash. Really clear, strong funnel. There's the obviously very strong or large cumulus clouds. Very strong base. This has been going over for practically 80 minutes. This is just absolutely mental. I hope you guys won't hear this. And there we go. And we now have another tornado warning for Jonesboro. Another tornado warning for Jonesboro. Oh my gosh. This better not happen again. Oh my gosh, no. This is absolutely devastating. We now have another tornado warning in Jonesboro. Right after they just got practically hammered. At least the south side just got hammered. Let's see if there's any good rotation. There's a slight brow rotation. There's a cell heading straight for it. At least this one's a little bit more linear. Look at all those tornado reports here. Look at all these reports. Oh my gosh. That is a ton of reports. So whoever's still watching, I am streaming the very, very, very intense severe weather day. And this whole stream has practically just been Jonesboro. They're now under another tornado warning after they just got hammered by a PDS tornado, which is now a tornado emergency. And now they're under another tornado warning. That is the unluckiest thing you could ever be a part of. What has Winter Storm Atticus caused? What has Atticus caused? We have got our first winter storm of the year. First named winter storm, but at a cost. This is just... So again, for those who are just joining the stream, we are continuing to track this very, very, very rare day of severe weather in December. Hold on, guys. I just got a message from the person in Jonesboro. This is definitely a day we do never want to see, just ever. We never want to see a day like this again. This is just absolute destruction. This is honestly just a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare. Honestly, Jonesboro is in another tornado warning. And we now have a report, tornado Tupelo, Tupelo. So we now have a tornado just outside of Jonesboro. We know a confirmed tornado was located near Tupelo or near Augusta, moving east at 40 miles an hour. So we now have a confirmed tornado. So we now have a confirmed tornado now in Tupelo, Arkansas, not Mississippi, by the way. It is moving east at 40 miles an hour, so it's actually not moving northeast necessarily. So this would be a good in the scenario that it won't be really necessarily affecting Jonesboro, but it's kind of moving east northeast. And I'm not really sure how many people are currently stopped by in the stream right now, but whoever is, please share, show friends, family, anyone, because this is almost historic. Weather reports and more. Let's just say you woke up to probably a historic December tornado outbreak, and it's not even close to being done yet. We had 2 tornado emergencies, 5, almost 6 tornado reports with the one single cycle, or one single cell. Now we have a second tornado warning for Jonesboro in the past 2 hours. We now have a new tornado report for Tupelo. We actually had a tornado report warning for St. Louis, and we still have one. We now have one for Illinois, and we had up to 16 warnings at once. This is practically, most likely, could verify as a high risk. I mean, this could easily be argued to be a high risk worthy, if we're being honest. But yeah, this could honestly be argued to be a high risk. But yeah, this is just absolutely crazy. This is just absolutely crazy. This is just absolutely crazy. I know I'm barely talking right now, but I'm just trying to take in what just happened. Again, we do have a confirmed tornado there for Tupelo across Arkansas. This is not a PDS, but it is a tornado report, and it's moving east at around 40 miles an hour. So if you're near Fisher, Hickory Ridge, Cherry Valley, please take shelter immediately. Let's see if I can pull up some current soundings here of current conditions. Let me see if this website can work for us now. For some reason, it's not working. Let's see if I can pull it up a different way. But yeah, this is absolutely crazy. There's just no way to put it. For some reason, this website is down. It's just not working in general. There's just absolute destruction. We now have a photo from I guess a local Monet like a station. And look at this. Viewer Maddie Birdno shared this photo of the Monet nursing home. There's just nothing there. There's just nothing there. And it's a nursing home. This is just a nightmare. Like, that is a nursing home. This is just absolutely just I don't know how to put this to words. I seriously don't know how to put this to words. Like a nursing home. Just a nursing home. I can imagine. Like, I hope that nursing home was evacuated or something, because like almost a complete roof was taken off. Excuse me. I seriously don't know how to put this to words. Oh my god, this is just... We now have another tornado warning now making its way towards now portions here of portions of Kentucky. So it's now made its way to its fourth state. We now have a PDS in Kentucky. Holy cow, this is a great photo taken by Reed Timmer of the large wedge. This is just it's so beautiful yet so scary at the same time when you think about it. This is I don't know how to put this to words. I don't know how to explain this. I mean, the photos I'm seeing on Twitter of this tornado alone is just absolutely it's unbelievable. I don't understand. God, this is just an absolute. This is just. I don't understand how to do this. This monster tornado is heading straight for Kentucky. So if you're in Hickman, wait, why is there two Hickmans? There's two Hickmans in Kentucky. If you're in Hickman, if you're in both Hickmans, this here state line. If you're in Water Valley, Crutchfield, Clinton, Oakton, please take shelter immediately now. Please, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is. I just saw a full photo of the nursing home. And oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm about to show you guys a photo of the nursing home. Look at that picture right there. Look at that picture right there. That is a picture of the. That is a picture of the Monette nursing home. Of the nursing home. That is just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. This stream has definitely gone a lot longer than I thought it was going to go, to say the least. Oh my gosh. Again, this tornado, a Tiptonville tornado, is now making its way towards the Bondurant, Hickman, and Fulton. So if you're near that general area, and let's see what county, if you are in Fulton County, Hickman County, and South Central Mississippi County, please take shelter immediately. This is a dangerous situation. It is a PDS tornado as well. We now have a tornado report in Jonesboro. A tornado report again in Jonesboro. This is just devastating. Just devastating. A second tornado in this area within an hour and a half. Thankfully, it's not a PDS tornado as of now, but we do have a damaging tornado, but we have a confirmed tornado that was located over Cache or 8 miles southwest of Bono, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. So if it's at Cache and it's going practically towards the northeast, that's going to be taking it towards Jonesboro. So if you're in Jonesboro, once again, please take shelter immediately. Thankfully, this line should be now making its way outside, and this should be the very end, at least for now, for Jonesboro. But this is going to be heading northeast, straight for Jonesboro, practically. So if you're in Jonesboro, this is just absolutely devastating situation. This is your second PDS, or not PDS, but this is your second tornado report warning in less than an hour and a half, and hopefully it does not become a PDS. Hopefully right now it's not as intense as the first one. Definitely not doesn't have as strong as a couplet, but it still does have some pretty strong rotation. So we're gonna continue to monitor it very, very closely. But hopefully, all we can do is hope that this does not. The nursing home is in Monette, which Monette is actually Monette, I believe, is in far northeast Arkansas. It's actually about an hour northeast of Jonesboro, and the first, obviously, tornado emergency, the one that went through Monette. That's where the nursing home is, and it's next to the Missouri border. But another tornado report warning for Jonesboro. Thankfully, this is the end for Arkansas. But thankfully, this should really mark the end of Arkansas. All we need to do is get past these few cells. We do, I believe we have a... So I think we do have a report. I'm not sure how reliable this report is. Not sure how reliable this source is, but there is a source saying that there is 2 fatalities and 5 injuries in the Monette. In the Monette nursing home, which was hit earlier. However, I'm not sure how reliable he is. But it wouldn't surprise me based on how severe that damage was in Monette. I don't know what to say, to be honest. Like, at this point, this is just devastating. It really is. We have a 20 report now for Central Arkansas there for Muhlenberg and Central City. So if you're near Central City, if you're near, of course. But I think for the first time, like 2 hours, I'm going to transition to a different state. Yeah, I think I'm going to transition to a different state because that tornado warning in Jonesboro is nothing crazy, nor are those other warnings. So I think I'm going to go towards a different state here. I'll go to Kentucky because that one seems pretty interesting. And then I'm probably going to end the stream like at 10 o'clock because I do have a tennis tournament tomorrow if it does not get canceled. Let's see here. I guess I'll do Louisville. Let's see what this looks like. There it is. So here are the overall tornado warnings. So we do have a tornado warning remains in effect until 10 p.m. Central Time for Muhlenberg County. At 8:38 p.m. Central Time, a confirmed tornado was located over Central City, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. And again, we do have a warning ahead of that, which is also a tornado report, obviously reported on the ground. So this is a Tor R warning, and this also includes now portions of central Ohio. Confirmed tornado was located near Central City, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. So if you are near Beaver Dam, Hartford, or Ohio, please take shelter. So again, there is a tornado right now on the ground near the overall area near